where crimes are baked in every show, mysteries rise and truth unfolding. Ready, set, it's time to go.
I did hear Aqua on the radio the other day, and I was just, it makes me think of you, Baker.
Yeah, because I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me anywhere. Imagination, life is your creation. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Yeah. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Ooh, whoa, ooh, whoa. I'm a blonde bimbo girl in a fantasy world. Touch me here, touch me there, hanky panky. Come
Oh,
jump
Lord.
in, bimbo friend, let us do it again. Hit the town, fool around, let's go party. You can touch, you can play. If you say I'm only yours, you can touch,
I
you
don't think
can
he's okay,
play.
guys.
That's as much as I remember.
That's
from,
like the whole song. It's a good job.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what if any you might be. And Mo, you might be Sarah
Yes.
today.
Yes. I worked really hard to get kind of the droopy look. And thank you, Amber Heard. I finally found out how to accentuate my dark eye circles. Also, I do feel a little bit like Harry Potter. So I could also do that, just have a little, lightning bolt. What?
Is it Amica cream?
Oh, no. I have a palette that's supposed to correct under eyes, but it does have a purple and a yellow. So I got the sallowness and the redness, I think. I'm working on this.
You have the shade called Family Court.
Yes.
Well, as you might have noticed, we don't normally bring out Agua when we start trials because this serious business, y'all. As a leading figure in the Danish true crime community, probably the only Danish live streaming YouTube. That's why I can claim I am a leading figure. I watched this motion hearing this morning. We will be following the motion hearing because they and it's kind of well, like I wrote on X, will the defense show up today, and does Owens know what he talks about? Mo haven't watched it, so please don't spoil it, but it's gonna be
okay. Well, if we're gonna listen to Owens, I need to get my Owens translation device, my brain slug on. I think at a lesser capacity, I will be able to understand him.
I ain't no bright enough to understand him.
Also, as Sarah, Owens tried to get me Kroger not name brand Pop-Tarts. I would like a motion of offense because this offends me. And I didn't get a shower last night, as you can tell, because they're all hateful. But seriously, what is this? I mean, Kroger brand? I mean, who does he think I am?
I drink real bottled wine, not cheap bottled wine. And because it is snack day when it's Sarah Day, I have bought the only candy named after a bowel movement. Of course it's Swedish. Dr. Pepper and Pop-Tarts are an instant heartburn. Well, like Sarah, I have to watch my bikini figure, so I am on the diet Dr. Pepper today.
Yeah, I wonder how Hangry Bear is going to take that she's not allowed to have snacks.
There have been the motion have been ruled on no snacks. This judge is setting Sarah up to fail. She has low blood sugar. She is probably the smartest person in the room with a normal.
I have my post-it notes and my pen to take down all the things that my lawyers are doing wrong. I mean, did you see them? I was writing a damn dissertation and, you know, adding the commandments and the Bill of Rights and Gettysburg Address. They just will not listen to me. I don't know.
And Marissa, this one is for you. Come on, play, you stupid. Well, I can't hear if it plays it. Marissa, if you want a DP, maybe get in touch with Diddy. I hear he's into that.
Oh my gosh.
I was looking for cheese slices. I forgot it because I had Molly with me when we were out shopping. Will she pass out today? She doesn't do it in the morning time, but yeah. Why would anyone think snacks in a murder trial would be okay? She is a spelling bee champion. She needs her energy. Sarah strikes me as someone that eats rice cakes. I have some actually pretty good rice bars because
I love rice cakes.
There's chocolate on them, so they're good. What if she goes into a diabetic coma in a courtroom? No snacks? Yeah, they're setting her up to fail.
They really are. I don't know how it is that this injustice can happen to me. I mean, me. I was, you know, a 3rd grade spelling bee champion, couch and rock. And honestly, I mean, I have never in my life been treated this way. All I want is common decency. And you guys are all acting like I'm a criminal or something just because I filmed snuff films. I mean, that is conjecture and unintentional. I didn't remember. I was drunkish, tipsy-ish.
I can't, I won't, I don't drink. Said while she was so hungover that she claims they were coercing her to give statements.
How dare you use your pregnancy? I mean, I never let having a child stop me from doing what I wanted. How dare she?
But Silver Fox, I don't know how well versed you are with the ladies. I have been married. I have found out some of them lies. I know not all ladies, but some of them do. And Sarah sadly have been known to fib, which will also be a part of this motion hearing. Dr. Pepper's liquid caramel. You know there's no doctor, right? I love it tastes like marzipan. I love it. It
does have that kind of almondy rich taste. Yeah. I do love it, but Sarah Boone also likes it, so I always get like, ooh, do I really want to do what Sarah Boone's doing? She's tainted Dr. Pepper for me.
She's on doctor's orders. Well, Christine, let's put a pin in that one and return to that because that will also be mentioned today.
Ooh.
We need Mo's link on top. I like to jump between the channels. Well, I forget to put it on top all the times, but in 2 seconds, Jemima will text me on Discord because she knows I'm live, so I'll get mad and say, oh, I have to go check Discord. And she'll put it in chat, and then I'll punch it up there. Did you all know that the jury selection was videoed and can be watched now? Yes and no. It's not video. It's not really videoed from the normal sources. It's from our good friends over on Trial TV Live. They were filming it with their equipment. I think Recovery Addict has been lending them their his equipment. Thank you so much, Recovery Addict. And they were showing it yesterday. I have the. They have said if you wanna, instead of doing that, I put it in my chat because he's doing all the hard work. He should get all the views for it. So, and I have it up and running. They're supposed to do jury selection right now. Defense should be doing voir dire. They should have been ready to go at lunch, but because motion hearing has been going on. Let's get into the motion hearing, and then maybe if it goes live with the case, I won't be pulling up the jury selection again. Live, Trial TV Live. I have to get that name right. Trial TV live, not light, live, might cover it again today. I know he is in court and has the equipment in the room and have been streaming it. Yesterday, it was the state doing their voir dire of the jury. Today will be the defense. I foresee questions like, are you functionally brain dead so you will believe whatever Sarah Boone says?
Please, Judge Browzo Justice, jump into the void this time. Save us from the void. Or jump into, I can't remember what he, jump into the fray. He said he was jumping in somewhere, but please jump
I think it
and
was
save us
fray.
all.
Yes, Vice has streamed it this morning, and I was watching it yesterday on live trial TV live. I will learn that name. But they are also waiting right now. But I thought we can do the motion hearing because ain't no thing going on but the rent, as the young kids say.
Yes.
And no, it's not a Pinocchio hat. It's a brain bug that can translate stupid.
Yeah, it's from Futurama. I am a giant nerd. I'm also wearing a Lord of the Rings sweatshirt. So, you know, I look like Harry Potter. I have a brain slug on. I have no dignity. But, you know, who cares? Who needs dignity?
I love those
Although,
people
please,
who say...
someone pick the Detective Good hair wig tomorrow. I am so vain that I would wear that all the time and go full share with it. But so that's why I've given people a choice.
It's probably the last wig you will wear because she will be the last witness. And yes, for those of you who haven't seen it, Sarah Boone will be testifying in narrative form, which I think Owens he's probably at the nearest. In the lunch break, he has been at the mosque, synagogue, Catholic church, non-denominational church, pagan temple, thanking whatever gods were around, because then he can't be a part of her perjury.
That is actually probably the only way she would have stayed on a single story. So from what I understand, not being a lawyer, a narrative is where she has to read from a paper. No one questions her, but she basically reads her statement that she gave. I could be very wrong. Take it with 9 pounds of salt.
No, but she will be cross-examined on what her statements were.
Oh.
So, yeah. But let's get to it and do it. She fills out that pantsuit real nice.
She's got... Oh, she tightened it up and didn't blouse the shirt this time. Interesting. The color of yellow pus, how befitting.
Well, I think you would call that vanilla cream.
I call it pimple ready to pop, but you know, I'm not a great chick.
Things.
Or jaundice really brings out the
there might
saggy,
be more
drunky face.
Hopefully there's something good in it. Ricordi got some type of license now, so he can set up live feeds in courtroom now. Yeah, he probably got some kind of a media, whatever you have to apply for. I think we can all do it, but I'm not sure. And again, I am actually a part of Baker Media because I have to file taxes. So I called it Baker Media. So when Marissa calls court, she can say, I am a representative of Baker Media. Can you please turn the microphone around? Atheist and Mo's hair is way too accurate. It's freaking you out. Well,
just imagine me as Harry Potter then. It's a little weird, but not as weird as some of the outfits I come up with.
Oh, look at that swoosh in the back.
I'm going to have to wash this wig, get all the goo out of it, and we are going windblown and bed fresh out of bed. I like it.
She's what's called a natural beauty. And she's waving to the paralegals.
She's a something. I'm just not sure science has classified it yet. Pull down the back of your suit, you dingus.
During the trial.
No reciprocal discovery exhibit list for the purposes of the trial based on the court's prior findings. We're here to conclude the objections as identified in the state's response to defendant's fifth amended reciprocal discovery exhibit list. The court has reviewed the objections and the defendant's fifth amended reciprocal discovery exhibit list. Anything else we need to address?
I think now, Wolpe, thank you. Now I know what happened that night. They were sitting on the couch watching a burned DVD copy because they don't have Netflix, and they were watching that crappy Harry Potter spin-off with that weird British guy, and he can store an entire universe in his suitcase. And Sarah was a little bit tipsy, only a BAC on a 5 or 6, nothing major, and said,
"Yeah,
I bet you our Samsonite's magic too." There's
she was like,
Giffler.
Let's pretend it's like one of those secret cabinets, and we're gonna go fight Death Eaters. But then she forgot that Jorge wasn't a Death Eater, and things just went bad. She had Voldemort flashbacks. It's just like, no, you won't. No, you won't take Snape out. No, you won't.
Spectrum Patronus.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a wand, so she used a baseball bat. So
how did we come up with a better, more believable defense than this chick in 5 minutes? It's still ridiculous, but good Lord.
Yes. I think I've seen her straddle the bush. I think she is Harry Potter.
Well, spend money on razors when you can buy vodka.
Exactly.
Duh.
And Jorge didn't mind a little after fun flushing. I really shouldn't say stuff when Mo, you bring it out in me.
We should not be honest. It's like when Nick and I get together. It's just shenanigans.
Yeah, I don't understand why people need to drink to say stupid stuff online.
I do it for free and mostly sober.
Yeah.
Before we begin addressing those objections.
Judge, I do not see a written order from yesterday's rulings on the clerk's website. I want to make sure I am crystal clear as to what the court has said is going to occur during the trial regarding opening statements by either party and so on and so forth, so that I am not in violation of any motions in limine or any case law that presides over what I can say or not say.
Okay. Madam Clerk. Were you anticipating a written order on the motions in limine?
I felt like I heard you say everything that I anticipated was going to be put at least on court minutes by the clerk's office. I wasn't anticipating you to type a written.
Okay, that's what I wanted clarification on. Thank you.
But I just do want crystal clear clarification as to what we are both doing, because based on that, I have some things that I would like to get on the record for post-conviction matters.
Sure. All right. Madam Clerk is pulling up the file now, sir. Give us a moment. You did not. Okay. Madam Clerk has advised that court minutes were not prepared for the ruling from yesterday due to it taking place during the trial and jury selection. So digital was not providing recording services yesterday. So it would have been Madam Court Reporter. So I would have to beg and plead if she's able to get me a copy of what it was so that it can be re-reviewed so that we're all on the same page for that.
Thank you.
Madam Court Reporter, how long do you think that would take you? Is that acceptable? Can we address it at 1:30 before we come?
Makes it very difficult to prepare for opening statements when I don't know what I can say.
No, I agree with you, and I'm not trying to, submarine anybody or put anybody in an inappropriate box, but
I need to know what.
And is it appropriate for him to say, put someone in a box in this trial?
Well, he said submarine. I love brows of justice. Although his court reporter is like, the hell you say? She was about to pull in Owens, like, I can get it to you in about 3 or 4 weeks. Give me $50.
They still don't have a court report from the Karen Reed case. It's coming.
I'm going to be allowed to say.
I don't disagree. But is 1:30
We are going fast nowhere.
acceptable?
No.
Okay, well then, short of taking a break right now and having her create it, I don't know what else to tell you.
Can we finish jury selection? Mr. Henderson is going to take a minute. I guess we start at 10:30 or 11, and that's going to spill until probably late afternoon before we actually get a jury pick. And we just
Yes, Owens will forget that he has a microphone the entire time, and there's no subtitles, subtext, CC.
on Friday morning, starting opening statement.
Thank you, brain slug.
I'm saying they don't have a transcript of the Karen Reed case yet. They asked for it, and what was it he said? They didn't have a amended. I don't know what it's called.
So I think
Transcript.
they're wanting to make sure, because he did do a lot of verbal motions about what they could say or what couldn't be said. And I think the state attorney, the one who's prepared and knows what's going on, is like, I really don't want to run afoul of this. Could you please tell me what I'm allowed to say and what's not allowed to say? I don't even know. I think here's my guess at what the defense is going to do. The defense is going to ignore the motion in limine. They're going to bring up George's past, because you cannot put that toothpaste back in the tube. And Owens has been disregarding everything the judge says. He shushes the judge. So I have no doubt he's going to try to bring in all of George's past, all of his character references, everything, and drag him in front of the court. Basically,
and this is only for pure objections, saying, Your Honor, you already ruled on that one. Can one of the mods tittle over to Trial TV Live just to hear if the judge is saying anything about if the case will be going today? Because they just came back for the voir dire. While that's going on, let's get back to this crap fest.
State?
We have an out-of-state witness and people that are scheduled to come in. So we do see problems with that.
Okay. I don't know how long jury selection is going to take this morning. I can't recall off the top of my head how much time the state said, or the defense said they were going to need for the purposes of their questioning.
All the time.
So, Mr. Henderson, how much time do you think you're going to need, sir?
Hour and a half, 2 tops.
Okay.
And if they're just getting started now, that'll put them at 2, 3 o'clock. We might be able to do opening statements today.
yeah, and I'll have to pop off between 2 and 3, but I'll pop back on because
That's correct.
kids.
And Jamie might be joining us at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
She is out
Mr. J?
doing a pep rally for
I just
the
need
Ohio
a
State. I don't
ruling
know
so
what that
that
is.
with enough time to prepare.
I can see it.
I understand. So the way I see it is we've got a couple of options. We can, and there's no good way to cut this up. One, we can wait on the objections, which I know you do not want to do. Or we can stop now, Madam Clerk, Madam Court.
Why is the jury selection taking so long? It's actually not, but they wasted a full morning of this. There will be a heck of a lot of breaks in this as well. That's why I'm thinking we can just speed through it. It won't take that long. But they have to they had to seat the jury first, and now they have to whittle it down. And again, they spent a couple of hours on it yesterday for the questions. But again, everyone knows about this case. So that's the big problem. Someone said, what was it? That they would have something with a hard time believing. I can't remember. Sorry, I got sidetracked.
Oh, okay. I
Reporter can provide
remember. If she doesn't testify, he would,
That's
or
it.
this person would have a hard time believing Sarah's narrative told by others because, you know, again, he needs to hear it. So, you know, he needs to have her explain it in her own words. So I'm sure they yeeted him or her or Zimzer. I don't know.
Yeah. They are live with the jury selection right now on Trial TV Live. If you want to go follow it. In reality, it's a lot of, have any of you known anything about anyone being in an abusive relationship? One guy yesterday said, oh, by the way, I forgot my sister got shot by her husband or something like that. He just forgot that. That's, yeah, it happens. Thank you, the defense rest, for one broken baker to Tispelly, who just came in here. That's so nice of you. Thank you.
A draft of what was ordered yesterday. And we could go over it and review it and make sure that we're all on the same page as to what the court's ruling orally was yesterday as to the various motions in limine. Then we can continue with jury selection, or then we can pick up with the objections. I'm amenable to however it is you want to proceed. I understand your concerns of running afoul with a motion in limine. I totally understand that. But it will take her some time to prepare this.
I'm fine with either letting her do that now or letting her do that after we argue this hopefully last pending motion in limine, but prior to getting into jury selection so that I have time to rework what my opening statement will be based on the ruling during Mr. Henderson's voir dire.
Let me then ask this question. Assuming we get a jury this afternoon, what are the concerns with starting tomorrow morning with openings? Is it due to out-of-state witnesses that may be unavailable or because of their schedules?
I feel like if we have time, we should at least get into preliminary instructions and opening statements and use every waking moment we have to not waste these jurors' times until 5 o'clock today.
Okay. All right. Madam Court Reporter, how long do you think it would take you?
Thank you. And it's not leg day till tomorrow. So
Is that acceptable?
Ooh.
As opposed to in print? She could go back and pull back the audio from and re-review it and just provide it to us now? Sure. Okay. All right. Then we'll take a short recess. Just let us know when you're prepared to give us that ruling, and then we'll go from there. Anything else we need to discuss before we take this brief recess?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
State or Mr. Owens?
That brief recess was then another 20 minutes. He wants them prior to voir dire so he can adjust his questions to potential jurors, so he wants to wait until the court reporter gives him the documents. Eileen, he can't do that because he did his voir dire yesterday. It's defense voir dire today. But he wants it before opening statements so he can, first of all, tailor his opening statements to the motion or to the ruling, and he can object to all the mistakes the defense is going to make, because they will. Look at that. Oh
God.
and
she's
imagine
smiling.
she is 6 days
We're back on
old,
record. Case number 2020 CF 2603, State of Florida versus Sarah Boone. We get appearances for the state.
and looks 20 years older.
James Owens for Sarah Boone. Tony Anderson for Sarah Boone.
Hey, Puddle.
Mr. Beckett.
Okay. Ms. Boone is seated at counsel's table wearing the same clothing from this morning. Ms. Boone, a third of your defense team is not present at the moment. Are you amenable to proceeding without Mr. Beck being here? Okay. Thank you very much. Well, that cures itself. Counselor?
She has 3
Thank you.
lawyers.
Record reflect that Mr. Beck has just entered the courtroom. All right. Court's had the
Maybe
opportunity to
that-
review the excerpts.
Maybe it's that guy who, I don't know which one. Third chair allegedly was in an elevator today with Surviving the Survivors podcast and said, what the F did I get into? It's reported on Surviving the Survivors podcast. I can't verify it, but I just thought it was funny. Apparently, a retired defense attorney out of Texas, I think he said, And the people in the elevator was laughing with him. Rumors straight from the cow's mouth.
I mean, I could see that. He seems so befuddled and discombobulated. And I mean,
Owens, yeah.
Well, both of them, they both come up and they're like, I don't understand the premise that yesterday they were on completely different roads in a completely different town as far as what was going on. They're like, but can we say it in our opening statement? And the judge is like, yes, we've already established that. We're trying to establish when it can be brought in. Do you understand what basic laws are, procedures? And he's like, I don't live here. I don't go to this high school. So could you please tell me?
Yeah, it's... I think at least the jury would have had some kind of sympathy with her if she was pro se. Now they're sitting there looking at this crack defense team with two paralegal. The blonde one apparently, maybe allegedly, is an Insta model as well. The highest.
That would explain the skirt.
Well, later she will adjust her titlets.
Ooh.
I don't know why I know that.
I did not clip that. I did not clip that clip. It depends on the definition of is. Go full Clinton, or Jedi. This is not the clip you're looking for.
It happens sometimes, Silver Fox. I just smile and nod. Do the penguins of Madagascar. It helps me.
From the motion in limine hearing from yesterday, and my understanding is both the state and the defense were provided copies of same. Mr. J, is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Owens, is that accurate? Okay. The court's reviewed it. Are there any questions with regards to the court's rulings on that motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
My understanding is that based on
Judge, was it emailed to us? Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't know.
Madam Clerk's providing you a printed copy, sir.
Thank you.
Bless you.
I love that the lawyer who's kept sneezing yesterday. It's just, what's going on?
Have you had the opportunity to review that excerpt yet, Mr. Owens? All right, go ahead and take a look at
it. It was mailed to them and they need it on paper because Father Time and his friends can do it digitally. This is going to be the worst case ever. Your Honor, I wanted to show it on the screen, but I only have paper. Yeah, we're doing everything digital now. Yeah, but how? Put in the HDMI.
Well, even the younger lawyer was like, what is metadata now? What kind of voodoo magic is this? And the state was trying to explain it. I felt technically smart for a moment because I was like, I know metadata exists. I am a genius.
Your contact fell through? Oh, I'm sad to hear that. Thank you, Brandon. I got a haircut. Okay. I know no one noticed, but...
All right, Mr. J, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. We are referring to a rough draft printout that the court reporter made. It's 4 pages of part of your rulings from... There were several motions yesterday, but in this one, it's on page 1, lines 22 through 24. Part of the court's ruling was it's indisputable that an overt act needs to be provided under the Holland case by the Florida Supreme Court prior to battered spouse syndrome evidence coming in. And perhaps the state wasn't clear in its request, and I apologize if I was not in our motion, though. But paragraph 24 of the state's motion includes a quote from the Holland case. However, before a defendant may introduce evidence of the victim's character, he must first show that there was an overt act by the victim at or about the time of the incident that reasonably indicated a need for self-defense. Holland versus State, 916 Southern 2nd, 750, page 760 of that opinion, a Florida Supreme Court case from 2005, which was quoting Quintana, Quintana versus State, 452 Southern 2nd, 98, page 100, a Florida first DCA case from 1984, also quoting Williams versus State, 252 Southern 2nd, 243, 246 is the page, Florida fourth DCA, 1971.
They haven't been going for 5 minutes. They're already having a new break.
Oh, Lord.
Reed, R-E-I-D versus State, 213 Southern 3rd, 1110 at page 1111. Florida 50 CA 2017. Rudin versus State, 182 Southern 3rd, 724 at page 726, Florida 1st DCA 2015. So what we were asking for is, in addition to the battered spouse syndrome expert testimony, to not be mentioned prior to an overt act being laid, was any evidence of the victim's character, including reputation or prior bad acts. We apologize if that was not clear, since the motion is titled the battered spouse syndrome evidence, but
This is from this morning, Brandon. They are picking, they are voir-diring the juror right now. We might possibly, if God wills it, Allah be blessed, Yahweh, Odin, whoever you want to pray to.
Pharaoh and Iluvatar, depending on which name you want to use from Lord of the Rings. I mean, let's get them all in there.
We might start today if they can get done with the voir dire of the jury for the defense. But this is the defense, so...
the backbone and basis of that battered spouse syndrome is obviously prior bad acts by the victim. So we are seeking a pretrial ruling as well on the admission of prior bad acts, specific bad acts, or reputation evidence of the decedent.
Thank you. Response.
I just have one question as to what time. Are we talking about or dire? Are we talking about opening statement? At what time are we talking about?
During
He just explained
That was my takeaway.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's absolutely correct.
Okay, then the motion's granted. So the court's going to rely on that specific excerpt in Holland, 916, 7 seconds, 750, at pinpoint 760 through 761. Beginning with, as a general rule, evidence of a victim's character is inadmissible to prove actions in conformity with it on a particular occasion, section 90.40414 statutes. However, when a claim of self-defense is raised, a defendant may introduce evidence of a victim's character to establish who the aggressor was, or that the defendant was apprehensive of the victim at the time of the homicide. Internal citations omitted. However, before a defendant may introduce evidence of the victim's character, he must first show that there was an, quote, overt act by the brackets victim, end bracket, at or about the time of the bracket incident, end bracket, that reasonably indicated a need for bracket self-defense, end bracket, internal citations omitted. That's the standard. So hearing no objection from the defense, the motion will be granted.
Judge, just understand.
I mean, I object, sure.
Procedurally,
Jorge is the cause of all of this, and it is not fair.
It was not intentional.
Received and understood.
Guys,
Any other
tricked me.
clarifications for the purposes of opening or trial based on the court's oral rulings on the state's motions in limine yesterday?
No, Your Honor. And then the only other thing that the beg of the clerk of the court and the court is just that we can have some written rulings, even if it's just minutes from all the motions that were ruled upon yesterday, at some point, for the record for the 6th DCA.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Anything further from the state before we proceed with the objections? Defense.
Judge, yes, just my overall understanding is the motions and the orders that the court has apply to trial and the organization or the flow of the evidence at trial. Certain things have to be presented before certain witnesses can testify. It has nothing to do with or dire nor opening statement.
That is correct. And the court ruled specifically on that yesterday. And that's in the excerpt that was provided to you and your co-counsel. All right. Thank you.
I also believe part of the court's ruling was that the testimony that was proffered, the expected testimony of the defendant that was given to the experts, I believe the court's position was, if that is the testimony, then that is not an overt act.
The court's statements yesterday speak for themselves.
I think she's doing a Sudoku with 4 squares, and she can get almost all of the squares to not have the same letter, when she, the same number when she uses 9 numbers.
Baker, are they being purposely dumb? I mean, maybe they've given up dignity and like, we are just going to dumb our way through this. Like, pretend we don't understand legal precedent. Like, so what are you talking? Am I allowed to say it in voir dire? And he's like, yes, again, we have talked about this. You simply cannot bring any evidence until Sarah testifies, from what I'm gathering, or your expert is able to link stuff. But because your expert couldn't link any one, aggravating incident to make this self-defense, it's not going to work.
No, and by the way, everyone, Jemima have been working on bingo cards for opening statements. How and when, she will probably tell you. I don't get it, but Jemima has it up and running.
I'm not going to rehash that matter today. Anything else, Mr. J? Anything else, defense? All right, let's proceed with these objections. The court again has had the opportunity to review that Fifth Amended Reciprocal Discovery Exhibit list filed by the defense, I believe back on October the 2nd or the 3rd, and the court was provided yesterday the actual exhibit list itself and the state's response and objections to same. There's no need to go over the items for which the state has no objections. So state, I would ask you just to provide as to the ones that you have objections for, and I have notes with regard to all of them. So you may proceed, sir.
One by one, I assume?
I think that's the easiest way to go. I know we start with item 1 and then go to 3, 4, et cetera. So we can ping pong it back and forth from there.
All right, regarding item number 1 on the Fifth Amended Reciprocal Discovery Exhibit list from the defendant, I do not believe we've received those records.
Response from the defense.
Come on, we started 43 days ago.
We're referring to 1. 1A is all the state's evidence that you believe you can use, and I labeled that as paragraph 0 in my response. So specifically talking about your paragraph that you labeled 1, certified medical records from Advent Health Orlando, paren, not yet received by the defense, paren. It's not yet received by the state, paren.
The defense has not received those records.
Motions, or the objection is sustained. Moving to 3. Are these the 550 pages that we addressed yesterday?
My belief, and again, none of the exhibits are numbered as they get disclosed to the state. They're not Bates numbered. I do that.
It's just called a copycat, right?
Plagiarist, so. Mimic, parody. I mean, it depends.
Yeah, and I don't think she's looking at her lawyers and mimicking them. I think she has seen Matlock on TV and thinks that's how you're supposed to be defending yourself.
I just imagine her doing like a Jeff Dunham ventriloquist thing. I don't think any lawyer would have these sort of arguments, but Sarah Boone is insisting, and for some reason, neither of these lawyers looked at her and said, no.
Thank you, Woody Fox, for re-signing as a member.
Myself, but what I have and what I believe is states 2 was 81 pages of records regarding treatment by.
I'm not talking about 2. You don't object to 2. Talk about 3.
Well, I do need to talk about 2 now because this morning, after having previously already been given 81 pages of records that purport to be from Winter Park Advent Health regarding treatment of Sarah Boone over a variety of different dates spanning 2018 to 2020. After having received those, reviewed those, and made my decision on not objecting, this morning I was given a thumb drive from the defense, which contained 119 JPEGs rather than a single PDF with 119 pages. The JPEG, for the record, is a digital picture. They were upside down, they were sideways. I got them all formatted. I was able to read them while we were waiting for Madam Court Reporter. They do not appear to be completely the same as what has been previously provided by the defendant in regards to Winter Park's Advent Health treatment of Ms. Boone. So I just want to be clear that now, since the state's response, there has been some sort of change in what those records purport to be. And we are objecting. We are requesting a Richardson hearing regarding the 119 JPEGs that we were provided this morning in regards to defendant's exhibit number 2.
Okay. At this point in time, the court is going to proceed with a Richardson hearing. Defense?
Hey, Jedi Jess, could you explain what a Richardson hearing is?
Paragraph 2.
I've not heard of it before.
Correct. My understanding, based on what Mr. J just provided, and based on his response, is that there were 81 pages provided to the state on or about September 27th, 2024. State had no objection to those. State further identified that this morning a thumb drive of 119 JPEGs evidencing something else was provided. And
What is a Richardson hearing? During the discovery phase of a criminal case, both the state and defense, it's a Brady violation.
Okay.
Pursuant to
thank you
Florida
guys
rules of criminal
in chat too.
procedure. Yeah.
under the mandates of the 6th District Court of Appeal, based on Young v. State 369 Southern 3rd 1243, I am required to conduct a Richardson hearing. The court is conducting a Richardson hearing at this time.
Judge, the 81 pages that.
The 81 pages are not at issue.
I understand, they were given Sarah Boone from the admin health report. The 119 pages, my understanding is we thought we had sent them previously. We realized yesterday or last night that we had not sent them, so we provided those to the state as soon as we were aware that we had not given them.
And what do the 119 pages evidence?
There are medical records from the hospital relating to Sarah Boone over a period of time. Obviously, that's going to be whittled down depending on her testimony and whether or not it will cooperate. Her testimony that she suffered the injury at the hands of Jorge Torres.
Did they decide to give up
I
on
need
the
more
lectern
specifics than
today?
that.
Defense has
I don't have a time frame.
the
I don't have when. I don't have what.
reality.
Well, it's going to have to be matched up with the dates that she was injured.
Brady is in both directions as well, but it's to figure out if they violated discovery rules.
Which would coincide with the.
But that all goes to the irrelevancy issue. We're conducting a Richardson hearing at this time. So I need to address the inadvertence or willfulness of the discovery. I need to address whether it was trivial or substantial. And if I don't know what's in these 119 pages, it's difficult for the court to determine whether or not this is a trivial or substantial matter. Are these items that were previously produced in the 81 pages? Are they different? Are they different events? Are they different injuries? Are they different things? Moreover, I need to make a determination as to whether this violation had an impact on the ability for the state to properly prepare for trial. Those are the three prongs that I need to address.
Well, he was busy turning around and walking away when the judge spoke, so he can't listen to him. Judge should just give him a moment, because he was talking to his daughter.
That's it. Browse of Justice is going to lose it day one because defense is going to say whatever the hell they want, and they're going to risk a mistrial. That's my guess now.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I've said it when he got on board and we saw the first hearing. He's trying to get out of this, and he might even go for a mistrial just to get out of it.
Medical records of Sarah Boone that we had gotten from one of the previous lawyers that we had sent to the state. The other medical records were those that we had requested directly from the hospital that we got last week or late last week, and we just failed to immediately provide those.
When did you receive them last week?
I'm not sure, Judge. I have to get my secretary. We have to take a break and let me find out from my secretary when we receive it.
Okay, I'm going to continue with the balance of the objections, and we'll circle back on the issue with regard to this objection so that you can provide when, where, how, what.
My staff is
Understood.
texting her.
All right. I'll make a note to circle back to this issue.
Okay.
Moving
you as
to
the boss need to
number
delegate
3.
to your staff. It's not your staff's fault if you
No.
don't tell them what you need. Look how he's throwing his staff all under the damn bus. I hate people like that.
I don't think Brandy's in court yet. Hey, John.
Is this the Advent Health Winter Park Jorge not yet received by the defense? State's response reveals a motion in limine was filed regarding this motion. Is that the 550 pages that we addressed yesterday?
Yes, Your Honor, the state still has not received a whittled down exhibit that they plan to introduce at trial.
The court ruled on that yesterday regarding the blood alcohol content records, and the narrative would be admissible.
I'm still waiting for those particular pages to be disclosed to the state.
Okay.
You want the exact pages?
Yes.
The DAC and the narrative?
That's what's going to be offered into evidence at this point in time.
Judge, we'll work on that right now.
Appreciate it.
I've got staff here in the courtroom.
He told you to work on it
So as
yesterday.
with regard
you
to
buffoon.
the state's objection to item 3 that was previously ruled upon yesterday, is that the same with regard to the state's objection as to item number 5, certified medical records, Advent Health, Ultimate Springs, George?
I believe so, without being able to tell. Advent Health, it just seems to all come from Altamont Springs, the records. So I believe that is all encompassing, but so we don't have an objection other than the ones previously noted for 3 and 5.
Okay, thank you. Moving now to item number 6, certified medical records, Orange County Jail, not yet received by the defense. I'm assuming they also have not yet been received by the state.
Yeah, Brandy Churchwell will be in court covering this. I will now give a trigger warning. For those of you who haven't seen it, Julie Frazier, this will be almost as horrendous as the Diddy trial. This man is a misogynist.
I think, did we address number 4? We went from 3 to 5?
Oh, I apologize. You're correct.
Yes.
4,
Oh,
certified medical records, Advent Health, Altamont Springs, Sarah, not yet received by the defense. I'm assuming also.
it's not now. It's gonna, with the prison records, he will be so misogynistic. I will probably have trouble, even I, as the king misogynist grifter, to show it on my channel.
But then state you have not received
Let
them.
me see how it works on my
I
soul.
believe the
I'll
only
give you my
records
opinion.
until this morning that I had was the 81 pages from Winter Park disclosed on September 27th, 2024. If there is something that they have from Advent Health, Altamont Springs, I don't believe I have that.
Defense.
Judge, we have not yet received those records. We had Sarah Boone sign a medical release, and we have sent requests to various medical facilities asking for records, and we're just waiting on response.
The objection is sustained. Moving to 6, certified medical records, Orange County Jail, not yet received by the defense. I'm assuming they have not yet been received by the state either.
Last night, after business hour,
No, this will, I'm just throwing out all the trigger warnings. This will be horrendous, horrendous, horrendous.
I received 382 pages of jail records regarding the Boone. Once again, I'd spend my personal time reviewing these records.
Sorry, that's a crappy thing. You work for the state always works. You don't have personal time. In Denmark, we have a saying, if we delay a case because we need another witness or something, they ask the defense attorney, can you be here that day? And they say yes. And the state will say, well, I have, and the judge will sometimes just say, well, the state can always show up in court because they can just punt it to someone else because the state's the state. They have to show up.
I will say he's
Of
had
the
to deal with an
382
incredible
pages.
amount of BS from the defense. I mean, sending things all, cockeyed and weird and catawampus and not adding anything to it. So I can understand why he's a little testimisty. He's a little hangry. He needs a Snickers.
Or a plop.
Or a Pop-Tart. Balanced breakfast.
Probably fewer than 5% refer to her mental health in the psychiatric treatment that gets provided to inmates at the Orange County Jail. The other 95+% of these records is all about physical treatment, COVID tests, things I won't outline here unnecessarily since I do not believe these records will come in, but all the things that you would expect a middle-aged inmate to have to go through.
I'm sorry that people heard that. He called Sarah Boone middle-aged.
She is a MILF, and don't you forget it. My
demographic is 35 to 55. You ladies are young women. You are not middle-aged. I will not. Marissa have been typing up a stern response to that. And
please tell me she got the colonoscopy. Please, come on, let it in just for me.
And is that cockeyed?
Yeah, that's exactly. Add googly eyes to anything, it's hilarious.
Well, you said cockeyed. I don't know. It's just
For the course of 4 years. The state just is having great difficulty understanding what, if any, pages of these records are relevant.
No, don't start what if any.
On page 135, there's records from part of her intake procedure on February 26th, 2020. On page 137, that's the initial screening when she came into the jail on February 25th, 2020. Page 137, 138 include this initial intake screening. But from there, we get pretty far removed in time, pretty far removed in relevance. And so the state is objecting to the introduction of these records. Even her intake screening on pages 135 through 138, I don't understand the relevancy of it. She indicates panic symptoms. She's semi-cooperative, has poor insight, unrealistic expectations, wants holistic treatment, doesn't like being housed alone. The screening on 225.
I love that she wants holistic treatment. Can I get my angel healer in here?
I need a Reiki massage and I need my sage and my cheese slices. Oh my god.
She has
holistic
unreal
and Sarah Boone.
And I love that he said and she has unreal expectation. Yeah. Hey, little D. I can't hear the response, but defense is asking about how people feel about the state having the burden of proof and if anyone thinks it should be different. Oh. Yeah, I want a lot of things too. I'm with you, Kelly. We don't get it. We just want it.
Goes through alcohol abuse, yes. Type, spirits, not wine. Last used, 2/23/20.
But
I have never been happier to hear this. No more Mad Dog 2020. I can go back to my vodka and sparkling water. Thank you, tiny baby Jesus.
But I love that she claims she was only drinking wine. And she then tells the admitting nurse, I use vodka.
Several times a week. The intake screening also includes a history of violence towards others, yes. So there's no psychiatric treatment records for treatment for trauma. Any of the recognized trauma diagnoses in the DSM-5, PTSD, or any of the other trauma symptoms that can be diagnosed. There's no records of any treatment of that. It's just the anxiety, which, having read the expert depositions, I'm sure you understand that was pre-existing before the jail. So our objection is we don't understand the relevance of these records. They do not go to her subjective state of mind on February 23rd, 2020. They do not go to help us understand whether somebody in her position was objectively reasonable on February 23rd, 2020. And quite frankly, most of it's just embarrassing and irrelevant. And it would bog the jury down, much like 487 pages of Jorge Torres's records. There's just a lot of COVID screenings and blood test results. And we struggle to see the relevance, Judge.
Thank you. Response.
Judge, it's similar to the state about 10 days ago, sitting neat over 500 pages.
We addressed that yesterday. It's not germane to the issue.
They did it first, Your Honor. He's
I'm
such
going
a
to call
whiny.
my mom. This is unfair to me. And have you thought that I only had 43 days to? Yes, we have thought about it. We don't care. You saw, as I always say, you saw the monkey, you saw the hangry bear, and you decided you wanted to be the ringleader of this show circus. So no, we don't care.
Farnham have nothing on this. They only had 3 rings. This one is bigger. Yeah, Marissa will also send a strong worded letter to this defense attorney now. This chat is like heroin, very addictive. But the good thing about this, you can still stay fat on this chat. You can't do that on heroin. So you will still be hard to kidnap after watching trials with us. Or you could just do like me and get some plop. Swedish candy named after a bowel movement.
As soon as I got the medical records, I sent them to the state. He mentions anxiety was pre-existing. Now, that's not what their expert, Dr. Werner, opined in her deposition, that the anxiety she may be suffering from at the jail was from being in the jail. So there are questions about that, but generally you get these records, as you know.
She has to use the penlet. My heart.
What is the relevance of these records? What do COVID tests have to do with anything in this case? What do blood tests?
Sorry?
I said she has to use the little penlet.
You said something about a pen.
Yeah, it's a little penlet. You know, it's not got the outer casing. It's just the ink. It always makes my heart happy when I see her, Daryl Brooks, have to use the little penlet. I don't know why, but it's a deep petty
I want
thing.
them with the knobby pen. Because I've seen hers is a full size. I want the knobby pen. That makes it better in my world. Because you can get those where they're about 6 inches a sec.
Yes. The putt pencil.
Yeah. I love those little knobbies. So does Sec.
Have to do with anything in this case. If they don't, then what of these 382 records, 382 pages of records are relevant? What specifically is relevant? What page? What date? What document? You're not answering my question, counselor. They are listed on your exhibit list. The state is taking the position that these may be sought to be entered into evidence.
I don't intend on introducing these exhibits, this exhibit evidence. I intend on potentially the doctors, the experts, Dr. Warner, Dr. Harper, to rely on these records.
The depositions of all 3 doctors predate their request for these records. So it's pretty unclear whether any of these experts have already reviewed these records. Now we're going to have to address, when do I get to depose their doctor, Dr. Harper, if she has not reviewed these records yet.
What's familiar?
When do I get to depose her? Who's going to pay for the expedited cost for the transcripts? What relevance is it to her if she hasn't reviewed these records? They got these records post-deposition, post-evaluation. The last date that I believe she saw Ms. Boone was September 30th or October 1st. And then we took her deposition either the 1st or the 2nd. So this is also a problem, even if it's just going to be relied upon and not introduced. And I appreciate them letting us know that they don't seek to introduce these records into evidence, because of course, experts can rely on inadmissible evidence if within the course of that area of expertise, it's the type of evidence that's routinely relied upon. But how are these records relied upon if they acquired them after we've done all the depositions? Now, Dr. Harper did say that she relied upon some jail records during her deposition. State didn't have those at the time. I don't know what the date span is of the records that she did review at the time of her deposition. So now we have new issues to confront. And we would like to know whether or not their experts have been provided these new records so that we can address that.
Mr. Owens?
Judge, I don't want to delay the trial. I'll wait. I will not have Dr. Harper review.
So she has not yet reviewed these yet, correct? Okay.
I don't want to get in a situation where we're going to take another deposition. So
Yes, this is going to be the...
Okay. State with...
That was the only purpose.
I think the state will do a pretty
So
good
state
job.
understanding that tactical decision and that Dr. Harper is not reviewed and seemingly will not be relying upon these experts. Does that cure any concerns that you have?
Yes, sir.
All right.
What the... Imperial... We might get to trial today. That's why we are doing the motions. If we get any indication that we be going, then of course we'll switch to opening statements. They said defense only needed 90 minutes for voir dire of the jury. And so far they have been going roughly half an hour. They have already had stops. If they keep the timeline, we could have opening statements around 3 o'clock. I know this judge have told the jury to stay to 5:30, I believe I heard him say. So could have but we have people monitoring the jury selection questioning if and when we will switch.
Then based on counsel's representation, the court's not going to sustain or overrule the objection, as the defense has identified they're not going to be seeking any of these 382 pages into evidence. Moving now to 8, 9, 10, and 11. There's no issue with regard to the body cam footage, but there is to the police report itself. What is your response to that, Mr. Owens?
Judge, the arrest reports are not listed as evidence in itself, but the reports may be used to refresh the officer's memory if needed during their testimony.
Okay. Does that cure that understanding? Okay. All right. So based on Mr. Owens' representation, as those items will not be sought to be moved into evidence or received into evidence, but only for the purposes of refreshing a recollection, the objection is not sustained nor overruled, as they're not going to be sought to be entered into evidence. Moving to Exhibit 17. No, I'm sorry. 16.
Oh,
Why
she's
is
getting
she
a little
smirking
nappy.
at that?
She thinks it's a win.
Yeah. I can't use the R word, but I think she is the R word. She doesn't understand anything, and she thinks that anything that's not ruled against is a win. No, because your attorneys just said we're not going to use it at trial. So it's just, why file it? Well, it might be something an expert had looked at. It's not a win, honey boo boo, that you got it out.
I mean,
Or
to be
didn't get it
fair,
out.
as a ticked off and kind of jaded genlennial latchkey kid, 90s kid, can we bring that word back? Because we never, or at least me and my friends never used it for anyone that actually had those kind of developmental issues. We always used it among friends. I feel like we should reclaim that word.
We used a different word. We called them spasser, which is like spastic. But that's not a mental, that's a handicap. But that's what we used about people who we thought were stupid. Maybe we should Danishify it a little bit.
Yes. Now, I will tell you that I will be going off camera and off volume because I have to go pick up my youngest, most ferals. I should be back in about 30 minutes, depending on if the line of death works right, which it rarely does. You'd think for a Christian school, everyone wouldn't try to cut the line, but no. People are weird.
You would want to get first to heaven too.
True, true. So I will be back in about 30 minutes, going to get the youngest, most ferals, and then start them on homework. And the people are like, we always have to look at you to see what you're wearing because the car's the same, but you never look the same. It was like guilty as charged. So I will be back in just a bit. If you guys finish because they go to do, I don't know, 900 other motions that are stupid, then, I will be back in that time. Bye, guys.
And of course, I hit a word that someone doesn't like. What good word can we use then? I'll find another Danish
16
word.
is a repeated of 11, so the court's going to adopt its. Similarly, with regard to that exhibit, Mr. Owens, are you only going to be seeking the arrest report for the purposes of refreshing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so court same ruling with regard to exhibit 16 as with 9, 10, and 11. Moving to 17, the jail calls involving defendant and third parties. State, anything else to add other than your written objection?
No, Your Honor.
Response?
The defendant is not intending to introduce the jail call.
Okay, the objection is sustained. 18, prior criminal history of Jorge Torres not yet received by the defense. Has the state received that?
Other than the arrest history that has resulted in interaction with the state attorney's office, we have not. He's not a testifying witness. So obviously we have to provide, if they can't get it through due diligence, rap sheets of witnesses, but he's not a witness. So we have not done anything other than had discussions about prior interactions with the state attorney's office.
Okay. Response, Mr. Owens.
Judge, we're referring to the prior record involving Sarah that Sarah's aware of.
Okay.
I know we had some priors in Pennsylvania and Massachusetts. We're not referring to those. We're all referring to the ones involving incidents.
Hey, Greedy. Thank you for being a member for 10
I'm
months.
just trying to understand, are they seeking to introduce some sort of paper, or is this just the broad notification that Ms. Boone, when she testifies, will be testifying about any prior incident of violence that she wants to regarding the decedent, because you can't rebut it.
What is it? Is this oral testimony? Because this is an exhibit list, so that's my confusion. Because if it's oral testimony, that may be a different critter once the overt act is established under Holland.
Judge, she's going to testify to it, and then it kind of ties into that evidence being used to refresh the officer's testimony. The officer's testimony, we believe, is going to corroborate Sarah Boone's testimony about her injuries, photographs, the officer visibly observing injuries on her. That's the nature of this. So I don't think there is going to be anything about a prior criminal history other than what she's testifying to.
Okay, so there's not going to be any documentary or physical evidence that's provided, informations, charging affidavits, a criminal history report, anything tangible that's going to be offered to establish that criminal history other than Ms. Boone's testimony? Is that your position?
Yes, unless there's some dispute about that, that we have to cooperate it and ask the court to take some judicial notice that there was a case file that was set up to handle that criminal prosecution.
Okay. Mr. J?
I don't know that papers generated by a government agency is relevant. The disposition of the papers that were generated by some government agency is relevant. What's relevant is if there is an overt act that gets testified to, prior instances of violence by the decedent that she is aware of. That doesn't open the door to hearsay. That doesn't open the door to any of these things that he seems to be referring to, whether it's criminal rap sheets, which is what I believed he was referring to, or police reports, or state attorney records of no bills, or I don't know. Based on his last statement, I don't know what we're talking about now, but we do have hearsay objections to, I thought we were talking about physical exhibits, and that's what our objection would be to believing that what was represented was a criminal rap sheet.
Judge, part of battered spouse syndrome, and Dr. Brandon will testify, I assume Dr. Hunt will testify about it, Dr. Warren will testify, is this feeling by a victim of being battered that she has nowhere to turn. His family can't help her, she has no group. The state attorney dropped 3 of the charges. 3 separate times Jorge Torres was arrested, charged with violence against Sarah Boone. And her request, she wanted to drop. That's part of the syndrome. But in addition, in her mind, she felt like the state attorney had let her down. They could not, they dropped 3 of the cases. So she felt helpless that there was some outside entity that would protect her. That ties into her state of mind as to whether or not she felt an imminent threat at the time of this event. So that may become relevant depending on what Dr. Harper says, Dr. Warren says about that, what Dr. Brandon says about that, as to whether or not she felt helpless because the state attorney's office was not prosecuting Jorge Torres when she was there.
But that all sounds like oral testimony. And again, this goes back to this is an exhibit list. What are the exhibits? Tangible, physical?
We may want to introduce something in a court record indicating that the state attorney dismissed the case.
Okay. What does that have to do with prior criminal history? Because that's the topic here. Prior criminal history of Jorge Torres Jr. not yet received by the defense. That's the line item in your exhibit list.
I will withdraw the prior criminal history.
Okay. All right. So based on counsel's representation of the withdrawal, the court will not sustain or grant the objection. Does that clarify that for you, Mr. J?
Thank you.
All right. Moving now to 19, Orange County Sheriff's Office investigation.
No, and it's annoying as all crap that he can't figure out how to use a mic. And it's probably because you can hear him in court, but I think the judge should admonish him like we've seen in other cases that if you're going to sit by the table, you have to use your microphone because it's an audio recording. I don't know how well it's recording in courtroom, but it's an absolutely crap fest.
Workup report response.
That's being used to refresh the officer's memory if need be during their testimony.
Okay. With that understanding, Mr. J?
Yes, I'm not clear what a workup report is, but if it's not sought to be introduced into evidence, then I will accept that representation.
Okay. So accepted. Your objection is overruled based on counsel's representation. The investigative report workup will not be offered into evidence, but merely for refreshing. Moving to 21, all court orders in all Orange County criminal cases regarding Jorge Torres. State. Any further argument?
I believe we went from 19 to 21 without addressing 20.
Oh, I apologize. I had the wrong, I color-coded this and I miscolor-coded this one. Okay. Then based on counsel's representation.
But it only sounds good when an Irish person says idiot. It's not the same. Now, I am a master in voices and accent, so I can sound like an Irishman and say idiot. It's like being in Cork County and hearing it, but other people might have trouble doing that.
This occasion of withdrawing that, the court will not rule on that objection. Moving to 21, anything further, because we kind of addressed this as well with number 19. Anything further, argument state. Anything further?
No, it's to refresh memory. That's why he wanted there. It's to refresh someone's memory, so they can refer to it and said, when you examined it, did you look at this paper?
Argument. Yes. Okay, I'm going to overrule the objection as to.
I like what's her name, the one who always cover the Royals. She says cowback. I like that one. As this point in time. Yes.
Because if a declination of prosecution may have been filed, that may be relevant based on Ms. Boone's testimony.
How can they ask that? Because that's a legal definition that the judge will read to them. They can't ask that question.
So I'm going to overrule your objection at this time, assuming the overt act.
Steph the alternate, that's her name.
Concept is placed into evidence. Moving to 22, family law case file Boone v. Boone, case number 2017 DR 01660-O. I understand the state's objection is to relevance and hearsay. Response?
Judge, Brian Boone, we anticipate is going to testify for the state, and he testified for the defense, and he may be considered an adverse witness or a hostile witness, and so we may attempt to establish either bias on his part based on.
I don't know if you can hear that, but he's talking about the defense wanting to treat Brian Boone as a hostile witness.
Some of the documents or orders in court record or may reflect, for impeachment purposes, the fact that he has not complied with some of the orders, and that the reason being is because of his feelings for the defendant. You know, he's now got full custody of their son, and has had full custody for 4.5 years.
And now he want to bring in something about the custody.
Was not the agreement he originally had, and he was ordered to pay out
to a microphone,
which he has failed to do as a result of being incarcerated. So there's litigation going on. Brian Boone has counsel. Sarah Boone is not in that force.
What does the non-payment of alimony have to do with what's happening in a family case?
Well, Judge, that goes to his testimony. That goes to his credibility, whether or not he can be impeached. That her in the position that she's in now, he's biased, and to show that he's biased, that he has not paid alimony for. He's supposed to pay $1,000 a month for a number of years, that he's just failed to comply with the court's order. That shows his personal bias or feelings for himself.
Response?
Sounds like this is ongoing pending litigation that has not been decided by a circuit court judge in the Ninth Circuit Family Division. I can certainly understand why one may believe they don't need to pay alimony when their spouse is incarcerated. I can certainly understand why somebody may believe they don't need to pay child support when their spouse is incarcerated, and they would probably want to seek legal redress about those issues. And it sounds like it's all ongoing.
Are there any orders from the court in that case addressing the non-payment of alimony and that being contemptuous or in violation of any court order?
No, they were divorced. I think there was a marital settlement agreement that was attached to the final order. Brian Boone did open the case back up to move the child to Gainesville, which has happened. And then my understanding is there's still some issues. I think she was given some kind of a notice of a hearing coming up. She's not represented. I don't represent her.
Is there, so if there's no order in the court file finding there's a violation of an order to pay alimony, what is?
Well, there's a final order about his obligation to pay alimony. And I think if he gets on the stand, I'm going to ask him, but you haven't paid her alimony like you were ordered to do so. I can go into on the cross-examination.
But it sounds like there's pending litigation, including a relocation and I don't know because it's not my case. I haven't looked at it.
That's been decided. He has been able to relocate. I don't know all the ramifications. I'll look at the clerk file. I think we had subpoenaed the custodian of the records of the clerk file. I'll look at it and I'll let the court know and the state know.
Can you all approach this for a moment?
I love that he finally turned the microphone around and then he just started yelling. But they want to treat Brian as a hostile witness because he is on both the state and the defense witness list. how crappy do you have to be to say, oh, you didn't want to pay alimony while she was in prison? What, if any, does that have to do with anything? Then the state can rebut and say, but you paid for her house. You paid for all her liquor. She could keep drinking as much as she wanted because you did pay everything for her, right? I'm sorry to say, but anyone who thinks it's a benefit for Sarah Boone having that Owens guy on there, they probably need to surgically have their head removed from another orifice. He seems like he is clearly a plea deal lawyer. He's scrambling at the 11th and a half hour to just cram everything in there because he knows it's going to be horrendous, especially because she will have to take the stand. This lady couldn't get, probably can't use that metaphor. She couldn't get anyone to feel sympathy for her anywhere in the world because she's unlikable, she's a liar, and she comes off the second someone just pushes a little bit against the narrative, she comes off like the biggest B word in the world. And he knows he has to put her on the stand, and he is in panic mode right now. He wants the alimony dollar. He will squeeze Sarah's name for the profit. He's probably hoping that there will be another Jodi Arias book in this one. It's not about child support, it's alimony. Yeah, but he also mentioned child support. Judge sustained the objection. Defense changed the height and weight. Still seems stupid to ask on the defense part since Sarah Boone was heavier than Jorge. Yeah. Doesn't her kid's father have custody? Imagine paying alimony to a woman that cheated on and left her husband. How does that happen? Family court. That's how it happens. And if you were here the other day where we played the audio, he just wanted to pay to keep her away. He was happy to pay her so he didn't have to deal with her. I think he got in there and thought, I can tell her how smart it'll be to take a plea deal, and I can get a good plea deal so she'll get like 10 years. She's already done almost 5 years, and she'll be out in 2 years. And then she can write a book about it and everything's fine, and I can become famous. The second I saw him in court and the way he was attacking YouTubers who are way bigger than I am, I think he just want to be Andrea Burkhardt, Runkle of the Bailey, EDB. That's why he got on this one. He wanted the fame, and then he wanted to go into because he's in the last stretches of his career, so he wanted to turn into me, some stupid guy sitting here talking over courts. But imagine having that guy to talk about, oh, look how happy she is now. Oh, Mo isn't here. She will be fixing her top in a minute. Why I know this, I don't know. She's so happy. Oh. This is allegedly Owen's daughter, who is a newly barred lawyer as well. And she's the one that someone said was an Instagram model, but I'm not sure. I haven't looked her up. I don't know her name. Don't look her up. Don't say anything to them. But they're very friendly with Sarah, and Sarah loves them. Two beautiful young women who likes to talk to Sarah. She's never been as happy as a pig in mud as she is now. She finally got friends, and it only took a little redrum to get some new friends. Fixing the top. Checking the nail, checking the watch, checking the top. Yep. She will never admit guilt. What a horrible individual she is. Wish she could stop the paper shuffling. She will have to admit guilt because you can't self-defense without...
I thank you all both for your arguments and clarifications. Based on the court can overrule the objection at this time for the reasons discussed at sidebar. Moving now to 23, the policies and procedures of the Orange County Sheriff's Office regarding Miranda. Have those been received by you?
I can't remember. I have some mental block that I can't remember names. I can remember faces, but I can't remember names. So Mo have told me her real name multiple times. I don't know. Jamie, I'm not sure what her name is.
You, Mr. Owens.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm no longer seeking to introduce those.
Okay. All right. Based on counsel's representation, court takes no action on the state's objection.
Same with 24.
Based on that representation, court takes no action. Moving to 25, records from Tealwood Park Apartments.
Judge, we never received what we wanted. We're not seeking to introduce that.
Okay. Based on counsel's representation of not seeking to utilize it, court takes no action on that objection. Moving to...
I have done fine, Sue. I've done fine with no personality.
27.
Yeah, she's finally part of the good, the hot girls club at high school. This lady is stunted at 13 to 15 years old. And she's finally having the hot girls she can hang with.
26, the defense does not intend to introduce any of the 911 calls.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Moving to 27, the video footage of the arrest on February 25, 2020.
The defense has not received that. The state may have it in their possession. It appears there's news footage. Sarah Boone in handcuffs being escorted.
State, you have such an item in your possession? News footage?
Notice the tone of voice that the judge just had.
No? Not that I know of.
All right, but we have not received it, so we don't have the evidence.
Okay. All right.
We object to them using news footage as evidence. Do you have that in your evidence? No. Well, we haven't received it. You can't receive it because they don't have it. This is pro se would have been better.
Based on it not being received, court's going to sustain the objection. Moving to 29, the iPhone photo file name. Not going to read it. It's very long.
Judge, I do not intend to introduce 29.
Okay. And court takes no action based on counsel's representation. Moving to 32, iPhone photo. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir.
29, what is the ruling?
There is none, as the defense has advised they are not seeking to enter it into evidence. 32, another iPhone photo file name.
Oh, just making up. Why would they would never introduce a perp walk with her in handcuffs. It would not be admissible. There's no evidential value to it. So again, he's never done this before. I know he said, I have taken more than 100 cases to court. I bet you if Jemima looked into it, 99.9% of those would all have been plea deals.
It's very long, so I'm not going to read it.
This does not intend to introduce.
Tammy, you're so sweet.
As such, the court will not take any action on that objection. 33, another iPhone photo file name. Court's not going to read it because it is too long.
Defense does not intend to introduce.
Based on counsel's representation, court takes no action on the objection. Moving to 48, another iPhone photo file name, 505 period JPG underscore embedded underscore 1 underscore 772.
We would stipulate.
The objection is sustained based on stipulation. Moving to 59 and 60. I understand your objection, State. Any response?
Any and all exhibits previously listed by the state?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Judge, Mr. J is a smart lawyer with a lot of experience. He's board certified. He's filed this motion in limine to disallow the battered spouse syndrome twice. And yesterday, we were forced to disclose the overt act that constituted our defense, that tied in with the self-defense. And so tactically, he was able to get us to that posture, so he knows our defense and how we're coming at it. The problem is the state has not been forced to give the details of what they allege Sarah Boone's overt acts or non-acts.
I need to clarify something. There was no forcing yesterday. The court reviewed Dr. Harper's deposition, and there was no overt act that she had testified.
Oh, read the charging documents. There you have what the state claims, what kind of overt act she was doing. She left him to suffocate in a suitcase. You weren't forced to disclose anything yesterday. You were told, if you want to rely on battered spouse syndrome, you have to put Sarah Boone on the stand to tell about that before you can bring Dr. Harper on and talk about battered spouse syndrome. I left normal Danish elementary school after 10 years with a middle of the road grade. I then became a baker. We didn't do much law reading in bakery school. Then I haven't been, well, I did some high school classes later. I have a higher understanding of what happened yesterday, and I wasn't present. Oh, this is going to be, Jamie, I need you.
I do. She was specifically inquired about any imminent fear, and there was no response to those questions. The word overt act did not appear in any of the 4 or 5 sessions that she had with Ms. Boone. And state was seeking, as we addressed yesterday in limine, to prohibit that.
I disagree with that. That was his deposition. He tried to control the witness. He kept cutting her off. He wouldn't let her finish explaining. I certainly wasn't going to do it. She's going to testify in trial about it. It's not my fault that he felt like he got the answer he wanted and he moved on. He didn't ask for any elaboration about that, but that's going to come out. But I understand that's all you had. But we had to do that. The state has not had to do that. And I understand under the 6th Amendment that we have a right, the accused has a right to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation. And the problem with that boilerplate information is we don't know what.
The accusation is she unalived her boyfriend.
They are claiming that she actually did overt act or omission that constituted second-degree murder. So because of that, we have to list everything because we don't know. It's like he wants to know. He wants the court to make rulings so that he can tweak his opening statement based on the court. The same with us. We don't know how to respond to their opening until they give it because we don't understand the full nature of what they're alleging Sarah Boone did to constitute second-degree murder. So in an abundance of caution, we've got to list everything. That
No, he tried to fight against the state's motion yesterday that they couldn't use battered spouse as a defense. They were allowed to mention battered spouse in their opening, but they can't bring a witness to talk about battered spouse, an expert witness to talk about battered spouse before Sarah Boone have taken the stand and claimed battered spouse. Because when she claims battered spouse, it is an admission that she unalived George, because it's a self-defense, and if you self-defense, you unalive. So he
may be relevant, but we don't know yet because we haven't heard. I would like to renew. They've renewed their motion on battered spouse. I would like to renew my motion for a statement of particulars so that I could know, the defense team could know what it is exactly that the state attorney is alleging that Sarah did or did not do that constitutes second-degree murder. It's a serious charge. This is not, it's a unique case. It's not something that happens every day. And that's why we believe that it was proper under that rule of a statement of particulars so that we could be informed about what it is exactly that they claim that she did criminal so that we could prepare a defense.
And it goes directly to this point, which is they want to know why we want these documents and what documents specifically are y'all going to use. Well, it's difficult to tell when we don't know.
Well, he walked into this with his eyes wide open because he said after the first meeting, I didn't want to do it. Then someone in Massachusetts, Virginia, Minnesota reached out to him and talked to him, and then he went back on it. He's an idiot. Hey, Mikkel Kone. Or K-O-N-E.
What we're accused of.
Any response, Mr. J?
Yes, sir.
This will be the first civil soft-sit lawyer, I think.
Mr. Owens, Mr. Cacciatore.
Hello. Good dear to see you.
Myself and Dr. Werner all sat together within 5 feet of Sarah Boone the first week of October and heard the final version. It's not very dissimilar from the version of Dr. Harper, but Dr. Werner's deposition was provided to the court previously for our motion to eliminate. I don't understand the position they're taking that they were forced to show their cards when Dave Cacciatore and myself and Mr. Owens and Dr. Werner were all there together to hear her version. And her version is, it was all fun and games. It was Sunday fun day. He gets into the suitcase. We're all laughing. I zip it shut. We're still laughing. There comes a point in time when he says, I can't breathe. This triggers her based on her past abuse, no overt act that day. And she begins violently doing the things to the suitcase that she says she did, whacking him with the baseball bat on his fingers. And now, after being the initial aggressor, now after having committed a forcible felony or two, now after having put Mr. Torres in a reasonable fear of death or great bodily harm, she says, well, she realizes now if he gets out after these things that I've done to him, I'm in big trouble. And it's my understanding that we have had this discussion and that if that is the proffered testimony, that is not going to amount to an overt act, which will allow for reputation evidence, past incidents of violence, or the battered spouse syndrome evidence. They weren't forced to show their hand. I was there. The rules of criminal procedure allowed me and Mr. Cacciatore to be there and to witness this evaluation. So that being said, we're not abusing the system. We're not doing anything that we're not allowed to do. And we're making every effort to make sure that we understand how this trial is going to go down and how they, and Ms. Boone understands how the trial is going to go down, because my understanding of how it's going to go down is she's going to have to testify to the specific.
No, jury hasn't been seated yet. This is pre-trial motions. That's why we're going through all of this and they're not presenting the case. This is just to make sure that all the things that either side wants to be kept out or have a ruling on, so they know they can, for example, that the state wanted to know about the battered spouse syndrome so they can object if the defense goes too far. So the jury isn't here. The jury hasn't been seated now. Right now, they are questioning potential jurors. I don't think they will have a jury seated in 20 minutes, as he claimed.
Events of that day, and right up when she comes to the point to saying, and when he said, I can't breathe, the state attorney, Mr. J, is going to object. He's going to ask to approach. He's going to say, Judge, there's been no change in her testimony, unless there is. Then that's a whole different bag of worms. But if there's been no change in her testimony, Judge, we got a ruling prior to this that there's been no overt act testified to. Now we're going to object to her answer of because of the past violence, and we're going to object to any further attempt to bring in prior violence, reputation evidence, or battered spouse evidence. I just want everybody to be clear and on the same page about that. Now, in regards to their request.
Sadly, she doesn't pay taxes, but she should pay double taxes. Mikkel is saying that Sarah should be paying for the time that she stalls the court.
A renewed request for a statement of particulars. They've had the discovery for several years. This is the state's case. A video that starts at 11:12 4:45 p.m. on 2/23/2020. Sarah, for everything you've done to me. Sarah, for everything you've done to me. Sarah, F you, laughter. Sarah, F you, laughter. Sarah, stupid. Sarah, that's my name. Don't wear it out. Sarah, I can't effing breathe, baby. Seriously. Yeah, that's what you do when you choke me. Sarah, 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 laughter. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. Laughter. That's on you. Sarah, I can't breathe. Laughter. That's on you.
Let's see her face.
Sarah, unintelligible, drunken, slurred words. Laughter. Sarah, 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 I can't breathe, baby. That's what I feel like when you cheat on me. Sarah, F you. I can't effing breathe, Sarah. You should probably shut the F up. Sarah, shh. That's our case. That is an evinced, depraved mind, conscious disregard for whether he lives or dies, whether she put him in there or not, she let him remain for 2 minutes during that video. And then at 11:23:03 p.m., there's another 22-second video, and it just zooms in on the suitcase. Sarah. So that is a second-degree murder case when the medical examiner comes in and says, Jorge Torres, George Torres, died from positional asphyxiation and the asphyxiation from being in a confined space. And eventually, after Lord knows how many breaths, he expired in that suitcase when she went upstairs and went to bed. But in addition to those statements, we now have her new statements, which are she intentionally violently shook the suitcase, threw it upside down, hit him with a bat, committed independent forcible felonies. And that's going to be corroborated by the medical examiner's testimony to all the blunt force trauma to both sides of his face and his mouth. That is a second-degree murder case. That is what we're going to be presenting. This is a portion of what I will be telling the jury this afternoon.
Any rebuttal?
I wanted that in writing weeks ago.
You don't need that in writing. You're absolute pillar. You're not a... Read the charging documents. What's the evidence? You have all of it. Oh, I hate this guy.
She was assessed, Sarah Boone, the defendant, was assessed at the Orange County Jail a couple of weeks ago by Dr. Warner. Their rebuttal, state's expert. The characterization that Mr. J just gave about her testimony, I do not agree with. There was 4 of us there. Dr. Werner, 5 of us there. Dr. Werner, Sarah Boone, myself, and the 2 prosecutors. The mistake we made was not recording that assessment. Because I can't testify to what she said. The 2 prosecutors can't testify to what she said. The only 2 people that can testify to what she said is Dr. Werner and Sarah Boone. We dispute their characterization of what she said.
It's in the video. Everyone, we are 294 people watching this together right now. Thank you all. Please, for those of you over on Mo's Twitter, come over to YouTube so you can participate in chat. We have fun. All of us have seen the video. All of us have heard a man begging for his life because this absolute monster of a woman got drunk and mean. It's not a mischaracterization of the words. You can hear the malice dripping from her voice. She is evil. I've said this from the beginning. State's case should be video 1, video 2, the 2-hour interview, turn around, look at the jury, play maybe video 1 more time and say, state rests. You don't need no more. I know, and I'm a law tuber, YouTube, true crime, or whatever you call this. I should be upholding the innocent until proven guilty. And yes, if Sarah's miracle offense, someone claimed this could be Sarah's Jose bias. No, this guy is an absolute fame. I don't know if that's defamation. I think he's in this case for all the wrong reasons, and he's out where he can't swim anymore. Jaws is just about to snatch him from underneath, and he knows it. He can hear the because he knows this is gonna end his career, because he wasn't prepared for a defendant who wasn't smart enough to take the sweetest deal I have seen since Kayla Montgomery, which still is a wrong deal in my opinion. This lady should never, ever have been in a courtroom. She should have accepted she killed a man because she was a drunken B-word who couldn't handle her drink and her temper at the same time. F you, Mr. Counselor. Sorry, I really hate this guy, because now he's going to say it's a mischaracterization what the video claims. The video clearly shows ill intent. Feel free to split this between my swear jar and yours. Well, I am really thinking, because I really want to. No, I'm not at 2 hours yet. I can't call her a B word, but thank you so much, Jess. Yes, she's a demon. Yeah. He has to do what he can, but he also have to have certain ethical standards. And now he's claiming that, because he didn't say what the expert said. He said what their case was representing those videos. And now he's saying it's a misrepresentation of what happened at that meeting. Has nothing to do with that meeting, you pillock. It has all to do with your client, who's stupid enough to sit there drunk out of her mind, claiming I had one little bit of wine. No, you were sauced up. You were so drunk that even 12 hours later, 24 hours later, maybe, when you were interviewed in the cop car, we could still hear that you were hammered. You were begging for that can of Dr. Pepper, because that's what you spike every day to be fancy and not drink pure vodka. I bet you she has one of these and she just all day long. You're an evil woman. You should be in prison forever. And I thank God Brian got away from you with your son, because that will probably save that kid from a lot of trouble in his future. Sorry, people.
That's just going to have to be testified to by Sarah Boone and the Dr. Warren. And jury, while we're here, they are going to have to decide who to believe and what happened. But that is a jury question that we're all going to have to wait for. I appreciate the prosecutor giving me the evidence he intended to introduce to prove second-degree murder. It was something I was asking for a couple of weeks ago.
It's not even day one. I'm worried for you. Well, Marissa will be helping Mo and Jamie on Tuesday, so I can take a day off. I have to go doggy sit for my other brother. But without my emotional support, Molly, she goes home on Sunday. I will be stretched with this one. I might get into the Malord.
Thank you.
For the same reasons that the court identified when we had the hearing on the original motion for particulars, the court relies on its same ruling in the case law identified at that time. The renewed or tennis motion for statement of particulars is denied. The state's objections as to paragraphs 59 and 60 are also overruled. The only other issue to address then is the Richardson violation. Court's going to take a short recess, and we'll address that as promptly as possible. It is 5 till 11. I still intend on moving forward with jury selection this morning. We will be moving to 23, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm just making sure I'm clear on 60. Our request was that prior to the testimony of any of the listed witnesses, which I listed only by initials, that we have the opportunity to depose them and we address the cost of expedited transcripts. And I just want to make sure that I can overrule that.
Glo, this is actually one of those things that I saw someone yesterday. I think it was a Danish semi-celeb who had a bit of a rough life, and they said yeah, I've taken some knocks, but it made me into who I am because I learned from each and every knock I got in life. And I think all of us, if you have enough self insight, you know enough about yourself, you can't get through life without making stupid mistakes. I have done horrible things because I'm the third son my mom had. And I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. And I treated my mom really badly. And I regret that every day since she passed, that I didn't just do a little bit better. If I could change things in my life, it was to be a better son. But I'm pretty sure, even though I feel like I was the biggest piece of crap, she loved me anyway. And I learned from it. I learned to be a better father because of her, because I know how badly I turned out because I was a rebel. Everyone should learn from their mistakes in life because you will make mistakes. No one's perfect. Anyone who claims they're perfect or doesn't make mistakes should never ever trust them. But it's a sign of an enlightened person that you also know, oh, I did some wrongs. I changed that. I got good with my mom when I got older, but I had a lot of drinking problems when I was a big teenager. She was very much against me drinking, and I was very much against her giving me rules. I jumped out of a car once when she drove me because I got mad at her. I was an asshole, and but when you grow up, especially when you have kids, you understand all the things they did. They did it with love, and this woman has never ever accepted guilt for anything in her life. She's never done anything wrong. Everyone has treated her unfairly. No. If you go through life and everyone is mean to you, it's probably a you problem.
I apologize because I was just looking at what was articulated in the exhibit list, which was any and all relevant reciprocal discovery to be obtained through ongoing investigative efforts. What's your response, Mr. Owens, with regard to these persons identified in the state's objections who may be called and deposing them?
Well, the state listed a bunch of witnesses on October 3rd. So if the court allows the state to do this and take the depositions, then we ought to be allowed to take the depositions of their witnesses.
Kelly, it has been delayed 16 times. She has had 8 different lawyers before this one. It happened during the Chinese coup. That took some time out of it. She has been, if you go back, I have an entire list of Sarah Boone videos. I have read all of her letters. She has been a pain in the behind for all her lawyers. 4 of them had to withdraw because of ethical reasons. The other 4, she's driven away. She was pro se for how much? Half a year. And then these 3 lawyers in the 11th hour jumped on the case and said, well, we'll help her. In my opinion, I don't know anything about it, but my guess is in looking for some fame because they saw Sarah Boone was big on YouTube. And now they have tried to delay it again to January, but the judge said, nope, we're going because Jorge needs his justice as well. But it's because all of it, she has been the main factor for this case being delayed 16 times.
Witnesses they listed later.
I believe those are the same witnesses that they've listed in regards to the prior incident.
No, but my mom had a lot of that. My mom should have been Jewish. She was really good at the guilt game. When my oldest daughter got that drunk the first time, I thought, how did my mom treat me that made me react that way? And I said, I woke her up at 8 the next morning and said, hey, honey, do you remember last night where I had to drive through a snowstorm to pick you up at a party where you weren't wearing the same clothes you were when you left because you'd puked all over yourself? Yeah. Are we going to tell mom? Please don't. I said, well, you didn't puke in the car, so you don't have to get up and clean the car. Go back to sleep. Just remember, tomorrow or the next time you're going out to drink, don't crawl as far up into the tree because now you know how small the sticks are up there and they all break and you'll fall down. So just remember how drunk you were last night and don't do it again. But remember to have fun. And then I took her to McDonald's to cure her hangover. And She became a pretty good girl.
The deputies that went out on the call-outs and the cases that resulted in cases to the state attorney's office and 911 dispatchers.
Okay, is that accurate, Mr. Owens? That October 3 states list?
Introspection is the word I'm looking for.
We don't dispute that they should be allowed to depose them, but they've been listed by both parties, whereas these people are unilaterally listed by the defendant.
Okay.
Judge, again, I'm not complaining. I've been on the case 45 days as we have gotten witnesses, found witnesses, Billy Lane or whoever else was trying to locate him on my team. We have tried to disclose it. Based on what Sarah Boone has asked us, I want this witness, I want this witness. We've made attempts to comply with her request. Whether or not we're going to call them, the law says, the case law says, Sarah Boone has a right to trial, Sarah Boone has a right to testify, Sarah Boone has a right to appeal. I believe those are the three fundamentals. But the defense lawyer makes the decision about which witnesses to call. So although she may want some witnesses, she's asked us to find them and list them and locate them, which we've done. That doesn't mean that I have to call them. And it may not, we may not call many of those that she wants to, but I believe my right to do that and to present our defense with our witnesses is paramount.
That's why I did it also, because I did stupid stuff because I didn't want to go home and face the music. I told Mike, I have 2 daughters, for those of you who are new here. And in Denmark, you start partying when you're 13, 14 years old. I always told them, my phone is always open. It'll take me a little bit to get there, but I will get there. If you can't wait for me, I will pay for a cab. You never get into a car with anyone you don't know or anyone who drank. And I just talked to my oldest daughter today, and we have a wonderful relationship. And when she needs to ask about anything, she'll call me, because I built that trust, and I know how important that is. Let's go. The first time my friend wet himself in church the next day, and his mom is a narc. My father was really mad. We drank an expensive port and warm champagne. Mom really didn't care. Helped the other guy out. Well, what? Why would you wet yourself? Don't you have toilets in American churches? But I don't think I had port wine till I was like 35 years old. But I have had warm, bad champagne. Thank you, Brandon.
She does not have the right.
Okay, thank you. All right, court's going to take a brief recess to address this and the Richardson violations. We'll be in a short recess. Thank you.
All right.
Why do I use gold color on a yellow pen? This kid was still hammered the next day. Well, the first time I got real drunk, I had to go to my buddy's confirmation the next day, and his brother just laughed at me in church and said, "Yeah, you'll learn." Is this an attempt to rein in his client just because she wants something? Doesn't mean he'll do it. A little late on. It's to probably, yes, to kind of say she wanted a lot of witnesses called, and she's going to cry about that later. But I need new pens for this. This glittery stuff is crap. Now I have it all on my fingers. I look like I jacked off a Smurf. Thank you, Brandon. His mom was very religious, and we all went to a fancy private school. He told us to my mom, to my mom, and was threatening to tell the school, but my mom told my other friend's mom what had happened. Well, don't be a snitch. Snitches sleep in ditches, is what I have learned. Actually, I think she was blaming my parents for the lack of supervision when this kid unexpectedly steals booze at 3 a.m. I don't think my parents ever blamed any of the parents' houses where we hung out because it's just a part of culture in Denmark. It's all glittery. Are you a male? I am. Yes. I don't know why.
All right, we're back on the record. Case number 2020 CF 2603, State of Florida versus Sarah Boone. State appearances for the record.
William J.
Defense.
James Owens for Sarah Boone.
Tony Henderson for Sarah Boone.
I had the same. I had a buddy of mine who, a buddy of a buddy who, his buddy had just gotten a new motorcycle, and this is going to get a little graphic. And they had been drinking, and he said they had been at work and drinking at work. It was a Friday. You can drink at work. And he said, "Can I get a ride back on your motorcycle? Because I don't want to take my car because I've been drinking and I don't want to lose my driving license." I said, "Yeah." And this guy just wanted to show him what the car could, or the motorcycle could do. And he perfectly flew off the motorcycle and hit a road sign just here. That made him a feet shorter. Hey, welcome back, Mo.
Hello. I think I had an aneurysm, but did he say, "Well, thanks for finally telling us why she's here for second-degree murder"?
Yeah.
Was he confused about this?
No, I didn't know she was writing the word important. He wanted to know what the case against her was. That's in the charging documents.
I thought we were going to hear grounds. I thought for sure we were going to hear subject matter jurisdiction, and I do not represent the name that you are calling me.
I am not beholden to the entity known as Sarah Boone.
And he better take that little nubbin pen away from her when he's like, "Sarah might want some stuff." He was trying to grow some baubles. He was like, "I got some bass in my voice. I'm the lawyer." Dude, take that pen away from her. She is looking hangry.
She should have the only candy named after a bowel movement from Sweden. Plop.
Now I have to get some of those. Like I need chocolate anymore. Sugar.
Well, you don't need chocolate, but chocolate needs to be a part of your diet.
It
And
really
you can
should
say
be.
it's cultural enrichment because it's Swedish.
You are right.
Pernilla, get on it.
Ms. Boone is seated at council's table wearing the same clothing from earlier this morning. All right, it is 11:24. With regard to the Richardson hearing, with regard to item 6 in the defendant's fifth amended reciprocal discovery list, the court is going to reserve and have that hearing tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Defense is to provide an edited version of only the records that pertain to anxiety or their lack of that thereof to the state before 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Judge, number 6 was cured by agreement.
Okay. Did that happen when I was not here?
No, it happened earlier while we were here.
Then what specifically was the Richardson violation for then, if it wasn't for number 6? And I apologize.
Number 2 was the 119 new JPEG pages, according to be from Winter Park Advent Health, and they're a little bit different than the 81 pages that I previously received.
Okay. So the ruling remains the same. Court's going to reserve, address the Richardson hearing tomorrow, and you were to provide an edited version of those records that you seek to offer into evidence. Mr. Owens, before 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Regarding the paragraph number 2, regarding the Winter Park Advent Health records, the 109.
It's for the record. I don't know why. Probably if someone was to testify how she looks, he could go back and say, yeah, that's the lady with the pimple yellow shirt. That's Sarah Boone.
19 that we gave him this morning.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah.
With regard to the witnesses that have been identified by the defense in paragraph 60 of the state's response, those witnesses will be excluded if not deposed prior to being called as witnesses, and the defense shall pay for any and all expedited transcripts.
All right, Judge, the same as should apply to them. There were 3 people that they gave us late that we didn't have before: Rachel Fenner, Meredith McCaskill, and Victoria Shelton.
State response.
Meredith McCaskill is an FELE analyst that is substituting for an analyst that is unavailable during the trial period. So in an effort to not continue the case, we've got a substitute analyst. So that's our reason for the late disclosure on her. Who were the other two?
Rochelle Fenner and Victoria Shelton.
And those are the 911 dispatchers. If we end up having to call them, then that's fine. We will pay for the expedited transcripts. What I would expect will not be lengthy nor expensive.
Okay. Has the FDLE analyst that was originally set to testify been deposed in this matter?
Mr. Cashtory does not believe that the defendant ever deposed that person.
Okay. Any other positions, Mr. Owens? Okay. All right. State will afford the same opportunity to the defense as provided by the state to the defense. Court's going to be in recess. It's 11:27. Hang on. Juror number. Yes. Let me address that. Can I have that thing again, please? If you all still have yesterday's sheets from jury selection, Madam Clerk has advised that jury services has told us the juror in seat 25 wearing badge 63 called. Is it child? The nephew that she cares for is ill and that she is not here due to caring for that child. He is not here due to caring for that child.
Sarah Boone allegedly has a deal with them. That's what he disclosed. The first time he was in court, he said he was pro bono, which you shouldn't be because U2 is a really bad band. But that was a bad music. But he claimed they had a deal to get paid afterwards to the press. So he lied to the judge.
Yeah, it is kind of confusing why they continue to work this case. I mean, look at the resources that both lawyers have brought in, and they still don't have their ish together. I mean, these guys would be great captains of the Titanic. Like, an iceberg. Can we get a continuance? No, it's right in front of us. But Your Honor, we only started 45 days before this. We had no chance. This is unfair. What are we doing here? Why?
Known sailing straight into an iceberg could be dangerous, Your Honor. The state never told us. No, because there has been a ruling in the alimony case. I think there was just looking for some of that. I think there has been a ruling or something with the alimony. So, and the alimony can't pay for 3 full-time lawyers. I like these attorneys. I think they are doing good work. I would take this case pro bono. These are good men. Lena, please go out to the treehouse and take that bottle of 4 Loko from Dave. He's drunk again.
State's response.
How much Prosecco have you had?
Awesome.
So stipulated, juror number 25 wearing badge 63 will be struck for cause. We'll advise the jury services to call them and tell them they do not need to report.
You're not doing a good job when the judge is yelling at you.
With regard to the order tennis motion, as to Ms. Boone's request for snacks, the order tennis motion is denied. Ms. Boone is being provided all the same services as to any other inmate being transported for the purposes for trial. Anything else we need to address? State before report back to 23 at 1 p.m. Defense?
No, sir.
All right, we'll see you all at 1 p.m. Thank you very much. Court's off the record.
Well, that was 3 hours of, oh, I need this in my life.
I don't. Those are some Manson lamps. She's seeing right through my soul. Have we checked that she's not related to Pennywise? Asking for a friend. Because I feel violated right now.
I have my kids as my background on my phone, but I'm changing that. Imagine looking into those eyes every morning.
That's a look of love that you never wanted. That is a return to sender right there. Oh, it just keeps getting creepier.
Hey, honey, can you get Mom's special Dr. Pepper?
No, it's gonna be for everything you've done. Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Shut up. Stupid. You're drunk. Me drunkst.
I don't drink. I'm a straight A student. I hate the neighbors. They call me Drunky the Bear. And they won't let me crap on their toilet.
Okay, how many over and under on how many puppy calm down shoes he gave Sarah before this.
Yeah, it's I don't know what I just bought and gave Molly tonight, but she has been snoring in the background. I think I should send some of those snacks to court because Drunky the bear could use those just to calm her down a bit.
Yeah, she is definitely. Yeah, can we take it off the screen? It's hurting me. It makes me want to confess all my sins and curl up into the fetal position. And I thought only my mom could do that. But apparently it's just anyone with creepy eyes.
She just looks at you with that condescending look that you know. But
Yeah, now I'm going to have to go back and fluff. I put lace bond on this so it wouldn't move. So I'm going to go wash the hell out of this wig since she's decided to be all fluffy now.
She is a little fluffser. She's a beautiful, lovely woman. I'm just seeing if I can.
Can we say that George was a real trooper? Because if I saw that and I was a dude, I don't know that I could maintain excitement. I mean, that takes some fortitude and some thinking of England and Margaret Thatcher, which actually would probably be an upgrade, which is weird.
And I want to know if everybody can follow this instruction.
Oh, now
it's
I can
going to be
off
weighing the evidence. And the judges.
Everyone, this is Trial TV Live, who is in court covering the jury selection. I'm just checking in to see how it goes, because I bet you we won't get opening statements today. So let's hear a little bit about what jury selection is. Jury selection is absolutely mind-numbingly boring. For those of you who have never seen it, they ask questions. People are indicating if or when, and most of the questions will make you think about, maybe I should try Mom's special Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many people. I had a little bit of a head start when I was doing jury duty, but it's amazing how many people think, no, the defendant has to prove herself not guilty. Nothing is on the state. What is reasonable doubt? I mean, the defense lawyer that we had a really good, kind of visual explanation of what reasonable doubt was and kind of what our job was and things like that. Owen's questioning, I can only imagine the absolute.
It's not Owens, it's the other guy who's doing the questioning.
Oh, so are we going to speculate again? Because I don't know, but that might be my favorite word from this trial.
I want you to notice the 1987 wood cabin fabric of her chair. That chair smells like mildew, long Newport long, and cheap wine. It's the most 1987 chair fabric I've ever seen.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna add either Shalimar or White Diamonds, the perfume. It's in there, or Chanel No. 5. But
and
I'm going.
Give me a little hint of if Dad got frisky that day, the original Old Spice before it became famous.
Ooh, Aqua Velva, here I come.
Mom loves it when Pop just dabble a little bit.
It really is like catnip for us married chicks.
But Jamie, you're weird.
I do like to see how many different perspectives there are. And some people have incredibly strange jobs or hobbies. Like, yeah, I cosplay as, people in trials every day.
When we do that, is it anyone who feels that they're not capable of doing that? Right? Now, when we say other evidence, we're just not talking about other testimonial evidence, because evidence comes in different forms. Okay?
Someone watched a hell of a lot of Dynasty in that.
Physical evidence. Do we understand that? There could be scientific evidence. Do we become prevalent and people?
Yeah, but we're not lawyers.
Stuff? I added
just clowns on the TV screen
because they had to tell me.
I don't know about you, but I'm super serial.
Tell me what the form
I'm
of social
for real serial
because I don't know them. Facebook,
I guess YouTube's one too. I thought that was TV. But
Oh, dear
Twitter,
Lord.
I just said TV.
Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. Okay? So I become familiar with these things, but I'm looking for something. I'm looking for someone who lives their life on any type of social media. All right?
That's me.
And this is what I'm talking about. So if you're this kind of person, I want you to raise your paddle.
What, if any, was that question?
Basically, do you use a smartphone? I mean, he just learned about the twit twat and the talkie ticks and Instagram. He's confused, but you know.
And I did a poll. Are we getting to opening statements today? 70 people said, 92% no.
No, who lives your life on social media. Okay? 6:20. Man, I really don't want to go to work today.
What?
6:35. Darn it. Let me go in here and see what I can have for breakfast. 6:45. Darn it, looks like either Fruit Loops or eggs.
Oh, they're going through their Instagram.
7:05. Darn it, I still don't want to go to work, but those eggs I had were really good. Okay?
What?
7:30.
Sarah, don't
Better head to
smile.
work so I don't get caught in this traffic.
Ew, she's
She's
flirting with him.
ingratiating herself with the
All
jurors.
right. Anyone
Glamour shot.
who leads their life on any form of social media or texts anyone to that extent.
And y'all are lying if your mom
please
didn't have
raise
one
your
of those in the 90s.
Okay. Remember that word, for dire?
What the?
To speak the truth. Now watch this. Is there anyone who knows someone that does that? I always get a yes to that part. I always get a yes to that part. So no one who knows that way. Is that correct? No one who does it. Okay. Judge, may I approach a minute, please? May we approach a minute?
Yes.
And now he's in the middle of asking questions about people living on social media, and then he stops to go talk with the judge. What? Can one of the mods please share a link for Trial TV Live?
And of course, MLS, I have all the glamour shots. I am bringing it back. We are going to get so many poses with the chin. But now they're going to have duck lips, so it's going to be for modern audiences. And those
Didn't they
weird
get
cheek
away from the-
things.
Didn't they get away from the duck lips, and it now just looks like they got beaten the day before with that foundation thing?
They put a bunch of fillers in the lips, so they just kind of do this naturally now, so you don't even have to work at it. I don't know.
Like Blondie Paralegal, she has a. She looks like she kissed a vacuum. I don't understand.
If it makes
Who
you feel
told you ladies
better,
that we guys like that?
Continue, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Because
Baker, why are you assuming we do this for you guys? We are doing this to impress other chicks.
All right.
Because
We have
every
never
time
cared
I
about
read
you
an
guys.
article online, it's the unrealistic beauty standards set by men. And most men, let me share something, ladies. Most men, if
I'm all
you
ears.
are halfway breathing and have a almost stable pulse, we'll say that's pretty good. If you just pat us on the back once in a while and said, yeah, it's not the way I like it, but it's the way you do it, we will be happy.
Yep. But no, we do this for other chicks. Other chicks, we see one chick do it. She's got a grayish house, and some women just got to do it too.
Yeah, it's
She's trying to get some digits after
Yeah.
this. She's like,
On the phone and
you're
Sue's trying to call you.
H312. Look
Well,
up
you're not going to be able to
after
put that last
acquitted.
post on there. Do we understand that? I mean, back in the day, guess what? We used to have to ask this question about cigarette smoking. Okay? I think they allow breaks for cigarettes. I don't think they allow phone breaks. Okay? So is there anyone who is that tied to their phone that they're going to be worried about that phone and not worrying about the evidence
Yeah, I
and the
can still
case and the
post.
testimony?
Their
and
phones are
everything
taken
else?
away from
Yes,
them.
sir.
You don't get to have your phone.
I'll defer to the judge.
I can answer that question. So if you are selected to serve as a member of our jury rather, an emergency phone number will be provided that you can provide to any loved ones or friends or family. And in the event there is an emergency situation, they can call that number and we will get in touch with you. Thank you.
Sarah, stop looking creepy.
Judge, can I confer with counsel?
Yes, sir.
Real quick.
That's like telling the ocean to stop flowing.
She has resting thunder cow face. Is her heart hurt? Oh no, she's having a heart attack.
I'm going to a digital detox bar in January. No, it's Sweden. They just have bad reception.
Sounds good. It sounds like a good break. Although all of my books are on my phone, so I'd have to Sarah
now,
Boone.
counsel.
I'm
Back
special
on?
ed.
Okay, I'm back on. There we go. You know, in our little courthouse in Santa Rosa County, you don't have to wear them.
Ew, flirt not in front of me.
Just everybody said, "Oh, we got a new courthouse," but it's
Is he
nothing
doing
like
the,
this. Bless
where
you,
you
man.
stretch
Bless you, sir.
and
All
then
right. Great escape clause. I don't really think anyone has said today that they couldn't be fair or it's anything, but I know you've been responding to questions. This is what I want you to do. I want you to think about it. And if for some reason, it could be anything, okay, that you don't feel comfortable about sitting on this case, if you'd raise your paddle and let me know. But let me give you some examples because I don't really.
Can we make the creepy lady stop looking at us? That makes me uncomfortable sitting on this case.
I would say it. I would say it because I don't have that little filter thing. I'd be like, her eyes are so creepy. Those are some damn Manson lamps. And then I'd get on court TV.
What's my address? Secret. No, it's not, but Pernilla found it within 5 seconds, so that's not that secret. But I don't give it out.
Ooh, Teddy
Before you
Ruxpin.
do that,
That was
it
nightmare
could be
fuel.
the fact.
It's not a television jury selection. It is Trial TV Live, who, with the help of Recovery Addict, is in the room. They have had special permission. The big channels doesn't show this. And he gave me permission yesterday to restream it. So thank you so much. Trial TV Live. Everyone, go give them a little love.
That you don't like the fact that I move around. You don't like the fact that I look. You don't like the fact of how I sound. Okay? You don't like the fact of, darn, Mr. Henderson, what were you thinking about when you got in the mirror this morning? Okay? That don't match. It could be that. Folks, it could be as simple as this, that you think my hair is way too long.
What?
Okay? But now, or
You're bald,
it's
you
something
dingus.
that you don't like about Mr. Owens, that you don't like about Miss Boone, that you don't like about Mrs. Henderson, and that you
And
don't
hell
like
yes,
about
I am
Mr.
eating a
Beck.
petty Pop-Tart.
Miss Andrews is a little
A
sensitive.
petty tart,
so
if
I
you
won't say
will.
it, but you can consider that too. Okay? So at this time, if
I haven't figured any P.O. box solutions yet. The last time people sent me stuff, it was when I was in Tennessee, and they could send it to the experts' P.O. box, because P.O. boxes is really expensive in Denmark, and you can't get them as a civilian.
you feel uncomfortable, would you please raise your paddle at this time? Okay. Number 40. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else?
I could use one
Folks,
of those big gulps of Dr.
I
Pepper
want to thank
Diet.
you. I want to thank you on Miss Boone's behalf. I want to thank you on our team's behalf. People here have made us very comfortable. Sometimes it's hard going to a different place, but everybody's been very friendly. Y'all have
Half
been
an
very
hour, they
attentive
can
to
make
me,
it
and I really
by
appreciate it.
4 o'clock.
And, I want to thank you on behalf of me,
But can
our
they do
team,
opening statements
especially Sarah Boone.
in
Thank you.
half an hour?
That's all the inquiry I have.
Give the parties approach for a
I
moment.
doubt it.
I think this guy isn't from Florida.
I
I
thought
think
it was from Georgia.
it's a mismatch. Yeah, I think he's a Georgian. No, that's not. Roll
Or maybe-
Tides.
Bam. Yeah, I don't know.
Let her think she's the cat's meow today because she's in for a rude awakening when she gets to the big house. Her BS attitude is not going to fly. She will start a female gang and run that place. She will be, like Lefty, a cheesehead. And they will take over. She will be going every morning. It's a hard knock life for us. And
Oh my gosh. Please let her do the Dr. Evil and Mini-Me rap from Yes. I need this in my life. Gosh, I wish I had animation skills, but I would do it. Her in a little animated suitcase, which is in poor taste, but appropriate.
it could be cool. It's Florida Eastern Standard Time.
Members of
Do
our
the
jury,
court
thank you so
reporters
much again for
beat
your
the
time and
judge?
Sacrificing your attention, most importantly, your honesty in answering the court's questions, the state's questions, and the defense questions over the last couple of days. We're going to excuse you for a few moments while we decide who may be able to serve as members of our jury in this case. Please do not leave this floor. There may be some of you that we need to speak to on an individual basis. And again, I'm going to give you a similar instruction that I've given you as well over the last couple of days. Please don't conduct any independent investigation or research regarding the charge, persons, places, or things that are involved.
Celestial Force, I trust you 100%. But 3 weeks ago, 2 nights in a row, I had phone calls with someone I never ever talked to before. And someone didn't mind calling me at 1 a.m. my time to tell me what a big a-hole I was because I was such a liar. And since then, I became a little more concerned about
Tally learned to dial internationally. Is his mom better put a little sticker on his achievements chart.
No, it was on Discord, so that was even worse.
Oh.
So I'm a little, yeah.
I
Do not
can
have any
imagine.
communications with anyone else or among
Hey, Corva, a lot of women said that to me.
yourselves about any of those things. One last thing. You may see the state attorneys for the state and the attorney for defense outside, maybe in the same elevator as you over the next couple of weeks. They're not allowed to talk to you, and they may look away from you. They're not allowed to communicate or have any interaction with you whatsoever. If you make eye contact, they may shy away and look away from you. I promise you, they're not doing it to be rude or insensitive. They're just trying to avoid the sense of any impropriety while we conduct this trial. With that, I thank you again for your time and your sacrifice, and we'll bring
It's
you
not
back
the
in.
drunk dining that
Thank you.
annoys me with you, Dave. It's the pictures, and I don't want to rate them. I hope you cleaned your ears because they are in focus.
Holy ear moly. Good Lord. Well, now it's a ponytail. I feel less. Oh, no. Now the discomfort.
Judge Kranig, he has the eyebrows of a very learned man.
Yeah. Just wave at the camera, ma'am. No, that'll be fine.
I think it's the female from Trial TV Live. I think it's a couple who runs the channel.
Y'all can be seated.
Nice
Thank you.
people, very nice
We'll be
people.
off the record for a few moments for y'all to review your notes, use the facilities, take 15-minute recess. It is 3:30. We'll see you all at 3:45, and we can address any individual voir dire or a charging conference at that time. Court's going to be in recess. Thank you.
We ain't getting no opening statements today. Oh my God, what in all the Teutonic eagles is this one?
It's the spear of Longinus. We officially got it.
I'm not saying that we had people wearing flagpoles with those in Denmark from 40 to 45, but that's very Prussian of you. I still think it's a little insensitive and could be strewn as cultural appropriation, but I like the mustache.
It was very neat.
I think the old would be very, very surprised if why is Baker getting, and who is Broken Baker? What, if any, is Broken Baker?
True.
Hey, Fubar. Could Nick or someone else in a different country get something like a PO box and forward? What's I don't know how, because actually the Danish postal service and the Swedish postal service is one big postal service. So I
Oh,
don't know, but now that
maybe you wouldn't have to do customs through both if they're
well,
both
we
related.
would have to do customs either. Well, it depends on the value, because everything I sent out, and I can see some of the shipments. One of them was they tried to deliver it to the house, but no one was home. So apparently, someone will get a notice when it's available for pickup. Another one in California have sent me a wrong address, so I don't know if it's going back to me. But I saw 2 of the other ones disappeared from the app today because I paid for. You can follow along where they're going. Really stupidly, because it doesn't write the address, because me as a shipper shouldn't be able to see the address I'm sending it to. But I can see what state it's going to, and it looks like at least 3 of the giveaway gifts have arrived. I've only got confirmation from one person that they have gotten the giveaway present I sent them. If you're one of the others, please let me know so I can grift off of claiming I'm a good guy. Well, we used to have it, but because it's government run or government subsidized, and as every other postal service, they don't make money, so they went together. Just sent all packages to MLS. He will transport them to Europe when he finished building his boat and sails to Europe. Exactly, Miss. That's the plan.
Yeah, MLS can do just a booming trade of, taking stuff to Sweden.
And Pernilla, I can't go to Sweden.
True. I think they have Baker's face because he talks so much crud about Sweden on.
They have really strong
poster.
hate crime laws in Sweden, so I would be in prison in Sweden. Ralphie got hers from the first giveaway. I'm glad, Ralphie, that you got yours. I can't even remember what. I should maybe do like a chart and say, what did I send people? Because when they say, oh, thank you so much, and I'm thinking, what?
You sound like
I have everything written down, and as soon as I shipped it, I threw the piece of paper in the trash can, because now I've shipped it. And I should also write down, Ralphie goes by Rossman online, just so I know who I sent it to and which state it's in, so I know to.
I had to do that with my giveaway because I was like, okay, this person is this person. I've got this address, and I want to make sure it gets there.
Yeah, everyone just mail it to Jamie, and she'll get right on it, go into the post office and mail it to me. Nothing Jamie will rather do than get out of her house and go ship something for me.
Yes, it's a life goal.
Yes, Fondian, I've looked into that one, but I will have to notify them that I have something coming in. And then everything they have to fix for every shipment they have to take care of for me is $50. So I would need to know that I'm getting like 5 things so I can put them together in one lot. So I only have to pay $50 for it, instead of, it gets a little expensive if someone wants to send me a promotional t-shirt of their favorite university's football team. Go Cornhuskers. Jamie I'm pretty sure she sent me one from the Ohio State, because the love of that wonderful university. But if I had to pay $50 for each college t-shirt, it gets a little pricey for me, because when I ship stuff, I pay 140 Danish. That's like $20 or something. That's fine. That's no problem. But if I had to pay everyone for a T-shirt or a teddy bear, I have to pay, because 50 American, that's 250 Danish. That's a lot of cheddar.
Oh, wow.
I'll make you an OSU shirt on fire. Yeah, because they hot. They on fire.
Sports ball. I know nothing. The funniest part of Mornings with Mo is when I pick a sports story and I'm like, oh, they got a field goal thingy for baseball. It's really, really amazing for that.
So the only problem about the Amazon thing is I would have to register with my home address. Then I could just as well give it to you. So that's... Ralphie got the rose Lego. That's right. The other thing that has arrived that someone had returned was the little bird nest Lego. I think that went to Scotland, I believe it was. So, no, the expert doesn't have his address out there. I'm one of the few ones who have it, and I don't remember addresses. So I think he's in Nashville. Well, is it because you ask for payment for a giveaway? Because then it's a lottery, and then you have to do it as a lottery. But I didn't. I did it for free. You just had to sub to the channel, so there's no payment. Then it's not a lottery. I think you can skirt the law that way. Give us your neighbor's address.
Follow us for legal advice.
Oh, she's not senile. She's just a little old and a little concerned about me. If you want, I can set you up with your private investigator if your stalker is in the US. Well, I blocked my stalker. Well, she wasn't a stalker. She just wanted to tell me I was an asshole, which I am. But please don't tell me at 1 a.m. in the morning.
What's the point? Like, well, that's a lot of energy to be petty. I mean, you have to make the call. You have to yell.
Well, you had to send the 20 texts beforehand, telling me I was a idiot, as they say in Ireland.
Oh, well, you know, she
and
sounds
I never
stable.
talked to that person before. I don't know what, if anything. I think it was
she and Sarah Boone.
She was in Florida, yes, and it wasn't Little D. It wasn't Little D. Little D has only drunk texted me twice, dialed me twice. I love one time when I called her back and said, because I was sitting here, and then the phone was in by my bed, and it went off, and I thought, that's who the F is calling me at 6 in the morning? It was Little D who had called me. I thought, what the F? And I said, nah, I'll put it away because that's midnight your time. She called me again, and before I got it, she hung up. So I called her back and said, oh, you called me. No, I returned a call. She might have been there.
Was she in the Canton Continuum? Was her phone butt dialing of its own accord? I think we need to check this out.
I think she had been on Elsie's channel. So,
oh, well, that explains a little bit.
Thank you. The wish list on Amazon can be set up so no one gets your address. Oh, I didn't know that.
Because, I am still struggling with that. I have no idea. It tries to send them to the people that are trying to do it. I gave up. I suck so out loud with computery stuff.
When can we get our intern who can teach us stuff? I have been trying to set up one of those so you can just hashtag something in chat and they can write it and it can upload to Discord and you don't have to think about it. And I've seen 25 videos on it on YouTube and none of it makes sense. We need an intern, unpaid intern who will work for clout.
Work for Hot Pockets. I am willing to invest in pizza rolls, you know, but it feels a little weird to put a help wanted ad at the high school. So it's been holding me back because I'm like searching for, you know, computer literate person that will work for Hot Pockets. Might put me on a list.
I have to figure it out. Little D wanted some of the little D over the phone. No, she was just wanting to talk. She wanted that. No, I'm not gonna.
No.
Let's celebrate Baker's phone. Oh, well, my phone isn't that interesting. What if we set up a PO box for you in the States here? Well, I will still have to pay to get it shipped to Denmark. And I would have to, that's the stupid thing, because when I ship to you in America, I have to fill out a customs report, or in Britain. So I have to go in there and say, what is it? It's a gift. What's the monetary value? It's roughly this. What does it contain? Box of Lego, candy, whatever. And then I have to fill out the name and address. It takes a little while. But I have to, it's because if I send more than, I think for more than 1,200 Danish, I would have to declare taxes on it, or custom on it, whatever it's called. So it's just way easier to make me a millionaire, and I'll buy a house in the States, and at least I'd stay there for like 3 months a year. So
Ooh,
that's the next
have to be
grift.
like right in the middle, and then we could all just hang out. We'd have our own whatever, but not rage-inducing podcast. We just all hang out. We'd make a little commune. I like it.
Well, California ain't gonna happen. Florida,
No.
never. I don't like New York.
Okay. Indiana does exist, and we are trying to take over the world with high fructose corn syrup. So really, it is the place to be.
But you have racing, and it's Illinois who has the corn.
Well, we have one race once a year, the Indy 500. Loud, weird people. You get to see a lot of testicular areas. It's not always the boobs you want to see, though. So
Male
weigh
or
that.
female?
There's a lot of guys in tank top that might be Bigfoot. There's a lot of back shaving that needs to happen in Indiana, but you get to see some fun things.
Idaho.
Idaho?
Yeah, Idaho looks like they have potatoes. I like potatoes.
We've found your home.
I have a few requests.
Okay.
No crazy animals, lax gun laws, low taxes. So Texas
we do have
out.
attacked deer, so
Florida's
I don't
out.
know about the crazy animals.
Arizona, New Mexico, Alaska, they have polar bears. That's out. Hawaii, that's too far away. So I'm thinking this area is probably kind of
Just go to Kentucky. You're kind of centrally located with everything, and you're close to Indiana. You can get to Michigan in about 8 hours, depending on it. If you get stuck behind people that irrationally go the speed limit.
I am one of those person who go the speed limit because I don't like to pay taxes, even though I'm a socialist, because we all are in Denmark, no matter how right wing we are. But that's a self-inflicted tax to pay speeding tickets. I don't do that.
Okay, 5 miles over is not bad, but when you are under, we revoke your license. We revoke your license. Just no. We will not be having people, and it's always when you're late to something and you've got grandma, Josephine, who's been turning left for 35 minutes and you can't even see her head because it's all the way down.
It's not Idaho then. I live in Illinois. We grow more corn, but I don't think by much. Indiana and Illinois are both like 98% cornfields. I was in Illinois the first time I was in the US, and yeah, just standing looking over those cornfields, your eyes got tired before you saw anything that was a different height anywhere before you hit the horizon. South Dakota.
Oh, you're close to Canada.
They have mountains with faces on it. Florida is awesome. No, Florida has gators, snakes, Florida people, hurricanes, tornadoes. No. Receiving gift over $50 for a business have to be declared. Well, That's why I keep mine at a very low price. It's no income tax in Florida. It's not the taxes that's the problem in Florida. It's the animals. What's the tax rate in Iowa, Nebraska? I can live at the black side. We'll have to insulate the cabin, but yeah. I could live in Manhattan. They have low taxes. I would rather have a steady diet of cheese slices and Malort than I don't like New York.
It seems so crowded. I wanted to go once or twice, but now I'm like, oh, that's a whole lot people-y.
Yes, I know that if you get gifted a certain amount, you'll have to declare it on your taxes. But it can still be a personal gift if it's for you and you don't promote it. If Brandon sends me cherry with an eye to promote his newfounded business for college dropouts, I would have to declare the value of her because that would be a promotional gift. But if he just sends me her G-string for my own pleasure, I wouldn't have to declare that, as I understand it. Bigfoot is your cousin in Texas. Texas rattlesnakes ain't gonna go either. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming do not have an income tax.
Ooh.
But then you pay a lot of something else taxes, right? Like for if you own property or something. But Alaska, no. Florida, no. Nevada, no. New Hampshire, I don't have the money to buy anything up there. South Dakota, just very, that's almost as far away as living in Denmark. Tennessee, I like Tennessee. Texas, rattlesnakes. Washington, politicians. Wyoming, I think they have rattlesnakes as well, but I've only seen it on movies. Michigan isn't horrible. No, it's almost as common as Denmark, I've heard. Kentucky charges a tax on your vehicle based on its value. Is it better or worse than the Danish 180%? Well, it's lower now. I know, Mass. It's like 172% on every car that you buy.
Well, I mean, that just seems like a wonderful idea.
Well, it's to pay for the roads.
Well, don't they tax your gas at the same time to pay for the roads? How many things pay for the roads?
No, that's to pay for the windmills. Mo, do you want to save the planet one tax at a time? Come to Denmark. Idaho is the place for you. Mountain, lakes, rivers, lakes. Idaho. That's the spot place. Well, it's just, you don't have infrastructure in America, I believe. You have to fly everywhere, right? You don't have like a train you can ride.
We are trying to invent this round circle-y thing that'll get us around places, but we have our top scientists on it.
But 70 miles per hour isn't that fast. Stop pronouncing the S. I will always pronounce the S as weights. That's how it's pronounced. Look at Moscow, Pennsylvania, or Daleville, Pennsylvania. It's known as North Pocono. Quiet error. I flew through Pennsylvania the last time. They taxed me on my soda. And one, you shouldn't be allowed to do that because that's taxation without representation. I don't live there. I don't need to pay for your fat people taxes. I'm fat, but I'm going to hurt the Danish healthcare system. And
That's
then
2603, State of Florida versus
I had
Boone.
a server tax as well.
Bless you. Defense.
this is not right. We are going straight to Washington, marching with our
Is the,
Admiralty
council
flag.
wearing the same clothing from this morning? All right.
I say Idaho. That's how it's spelled. Idaho potatoes. Doesn't Denmark become a net exporter of power when the wind blows as hard as... actually, when we have enough green energy to power our grid, the prices fall so low, we give it away, and we actually pay you to take it.
Ooh.
But the problem is we don't have that much green power. So we pay a premium when we need to import it, and we give it away for free and even pay you to take it, because that's how smart we are. But
It's almost like green energy needs a way to store the excess power, and we don't have that yet. So why are we trying it?
yeah, you do have Amtrak. I have heard about Amtrak. That's what Joe Biden takes to work.
Yeah, every day. He was there when it was built, and the Magna Carta.
Do you have to weigh your baggage on a train? Oh, Canada. You stop it. If you buy a soda in Europe, it's 100 ml and it costs $10. That's not true. One of these in the store will be $2, but this is special import. And I bought this in Germany, so I didn't pay full price for it. I have never seen rattlesnakes, gators in my yard. If you live in country, maybe suburban and urban areas don't have many critters at all. That's the same thing they say about Australia. I've never seen a white-legged funnel spider. Well, the neighbor lost 5 dogs to them, but I've never seen them. No, because you don't see them, and they bounce.
Yes, because every morning with Mo, there is like one, once a week, there is a gator in someone's front yard sitting on the porch story that I could pull every week.
Oh, I remember those pants.
They are coming back. All of the 90s, early aughts are coming back. It's terrible because it's the 80s and early 90s mixed in with it too.
I just remember those who said pink on the buttocks. Normally, again, like the chesticles, it's never the buttocks and the cottage cheese on said buttocks you want to see.
Okay. Can we all band together as Americans, regardless of creed, nationality, origin, all the things that divide us, and just say that flesh-toned leggings are bad on every single person and should be made illegal? Dear people that go to Walmart, do not wear flesh-toned leggings. It is a bad idea.
What about hypercolor shirts? I don't know. I remember tie-dyes, but I don't know what hypercolor is.
I think that's if you stood in the sun or had a different temperature, you could make, like, you could change the color of the dye.
Oh, cool.
It worked for like 5.5 minutes, and then your mom washed it and it never worked again.
With selection in this matter as addressed.
I was actually looking at one of those cross the country or West Coast Amtrak rides. It's more expensive than buying 2 people to carry you through Europe doing that train ride. It's so expensive, Amtrak.
I like that it looks like she has Dr. Evil eyes.
Seated in seat 1, the state will have,
with it being so out of focus, like little Gru eyes from the Minion.
Seated in odd seats, then it will proceed to the defense for all even seats to accept or reject.
Oh, maybe I can boost
10 preemptory challenges for the purposes of selecting our panel of 6. Once we have that panel of 6, backstrikes will be permitted. If there are no backstrikes, we will then proceed with selecting as many alternates as possible. When the parties are ready to proceed with selection, please let me know. We'll be off the record until that time.
Hey, Shirley A. Well, most public transports are. It's the same in Denmark. What's a back strike? A strike to your back?
So I think I'm guessing, so if Jedi Jess is in here, but I'm guessing if one side wants to strike someone, but the other side really wants them to be on, they can both list their merits and then kind of let the judge decide, I guess.
Oh, Amtrak isn't public, it's private. Oh, I'll take that back because actually, if you want pretty good train service in Denmark off the main line, you have to go. You get better when it's public. I live in the second largest city on my island, and when it was public-owned transportation, it was crap. Now it's private-owned. Now it's only crap when the signals doesn't work because the public still owns those. Sarah Boone here reminds me to never get a jailhouse haircut. Well, she had the same haircut before she got to prison.
It was a prophetic haircut.
Yeah, you need that pension money.
And Shirley A., she did not get her glam squad.
No glam squad, no snacks. The judge hates her.
It really,
Hey,
yeah,
Bradley McKay.
being super petty.
I had a buddy in school we called McKay. His name was nowhere near McKay. I don't know why we called him McKay, but that was just his name.
I told everyone to call me by my name backwards because it had a curse word if you wrote it backwards for a while when I was a teenager. No, my real name.
Oh.
Marissa. So if you backwardize it, it's behind I Ram, which I found hysterically funny as a 15-year-old. My mom did not.
Ew. Who smacked her hair down? Well, probably disappointment was what got to her in the end.
Her hair is having a hypoglycemic attack. It has no sugar. That's how it stays up.
Amtrak used to have the best microwave cheeseburgers. Just look at cruise in Denmark, Aalborg, København, Fredericia. Yeah, should be a pretty good little trip. At Christmas, I would stay out of Copenhagen, but that's where all the cruise liners go, of course, because of tourists.
Oh.
Tivoli at Christmas is a wonderful place to go. Do it on when it's not a vacation because or a school vacation because there's so many kids in there. But it's so beautiful when the lights, when the sun goes down, which it does at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they turn on the lights. It's the world's second oldest amusement park, and it's really, really, really beautiful. And it's smack down in the center of Copenhagen, and they have these right now. They'll have their Halloween decorations up, and then they'll shift it to the Christmas decoration, and it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful as you go in there.
So is is Halloween gaining steam over there, or has it always? Or okay, because I know
10 years ago, you would have the pumpkin carvings, and that was all. People would leave. When I go out with Molly now, I have 4 houses who have skeletons buried in the front yard and stuff like that, but that's the same. Christmas lighting wasn't a thing. Maybe 15 years ago, you would see someone might have some lights in if they had like a pine tree out in their garden, they would put on like a Christmas one of those fake Christmas lights. Now down the road from where I live, you have like people stopping because that guy he goes crazy. So it's kind of like a family vacation. But I got my truck driver's license in Aalborg. That's the first one.
Ooh.
And did my, what did I do for the military in Copenhagen? I can't even, I stayed at the old naval base over there when we playing. And my last place I was in the military was in Fredericia, which is the last city. So it's all my old garrison cities. Funny little thing. Backstrike is a lawyer is allowed to remove a jury before they have been sworn in.
Oh, thank you so much. I love having lawyers when I'm like, I have no idea what this means, and I don't know if I can trust Wikipedia because Owens might have, been moderating it.
Yeah. No, they denied her snacks and beauty squad. From Texas to Missouri on Amtrak, it's about 15 hours, I think. Been so long since I was on one. Plane is less than 2 hours, so I'm good. It's the same. We can fly out of course, Copenhagen, and then we have another international airport right next to Legoland. But sometimes it's easier to find cheaper tickets if you want to go to Hamburg, which is a city in Germany. And the train from the big city on my island, which it'll take me like 30 minutes to get there. It'll take me just as long to go to Copenhagen as to that town in Germany. So that's so weird because it would take me twice as long to drive to that city as to drive to Copenhagen, but the train's just slow. So yeah.
Oh no, she's getting sad. But I said I just wanted a peppermint. Give me some cheese. I'm so hungry. Put the motion in again, Owens. Do it now.
Well, Nanny Goat, it's because, again, America is way more flashy than Europe used to be. We are getting there now because it's always been seen as a little comme il faut to flaunt money, wealth. You don't do that. You don't drive the big car. You don't buy the big house. When you have money, you might you buy the souped up version of the family caravan. It's still the 7-seater Rascal Rocket, but you'll buy it with the GPS package in it because you don't want anyone to see that you have money, because people with money is bad. We're socialists. If you get FU money, then you buy a Ferrari or something like that. But in Europe, it's very frowned upon to kind of show money, especially because we have a lot of old money. So when you get all this new money, people will look at you and say, well, upstarts. But it's changing because a lot of Americanism, of course, comes to us. So now it's more.
We apologize, but we brought you cookies.
It's probably okay to show that you have a little extra tush, as the British say.
Ah.
Short distance being a completely different country. I could, if I drove down to my sister's, I could go down there in 16 hours. Well, I will have to go all the way through Germany, so that'll take a lot of it. I could also take the scenic route and go by the western coast. Then I would go through, of course, Denmark, Germany, Holland, Belgium. Would I hit Luxembourg? Maybe. France and Switzerland. It'll probably take me like 20 hours or something to drive that. Maybe a day to drive that route. And in Texas, people would say, "Oh, you mean going to the grocer?" No, they don't say that. It's going to the Costco. That's my Texas
so
accent.
confused. It was not intentional. Not intentional. Do you guys not understand what that means?
Could you
Sarah, for the
please
love of
stop
God.
talking like to me with your man voice. I want a female to talk to me. Can I get that hot girl that I want to be friends with when I get out?
And Owens is like, for the love of all that is holy, just take the deal. Take the damn deal.
See, Indigo apologizes because that's the way Texans sound. In Louisiana, if you want to drive to California, it would be 26 hours. Yeah, but that's another thing because someone asked me how we see Americans, and a lot of Europeans see you as close-minded, Bible thumping, gun waving rednecks who doesn't care about the world because you live in America. But we don't understand that your country is bigger than Europe. Texas is bigger than most of Europe.
Technological difficulties.
So that's
I mean,
we're just as ignorant about you as
We're back on the
we
record,
claim
case
you are
number
about us.
2020, CF 2603.
well,
State
Team
of Florida
America
versus
World
Sarah Boone.
Police was
Let me
a
get appearances for the
documentary
state.
about us.
Defense.
No, I think you have to remember, Mo, education is very important. Like in, for example, South Korea and Africa, I think it's very important that because many people who own Atlas don't, and especially South America.
Baker is having a stroke. Sarah
No,
killed him.
I'm trying to become Miss Universe.
Oh,
James Owens
well,
for Miss
true.
Boone.
You forgot to say world peace.
Kevin back on behalf of Sarah Boone.
All right, thank you very much. The state is advised to the juror members that they would like to follow up with 40, 49, and 51. Defense, do you have any juror members that you would like to follow up with other than 13?
I don't understand how she still can take the plea after she makes everyone go through this. It depends on if the judge has closed it. There will normally be a cutoff date, and then they will have to petition the judge to allow them to let her take the plea deal. But both sides would. It's not like a free for all, so she can, when the court is in session, she can just say, "Ah, by the way, I'm going to scooch out of here, take the plea deal." That would have to be raised between both sides, and they would have to agree on it, and then ultimately the judge would have to decide on it. I don't know if he's given a deadline. He's probably still hoping that he doesn't have to show up tomorrow, because we will not start today because it's 4 o'clock. No opening statements today.
No, I would assume not.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead.
No, I
and
gave a
bring
Miss
in
Universe speech.
Juror in seat 40 wearing badge 201, and we'll stand when that juror.
No. Manslaughter, 15 years. So she would have to have served 7.5 more years, and then she could have been out.
Y'all may be seated. Thank you. Ma'am, thank you so much, juror number 40, for coming back in. We've got a couple of follow-up questions to ask of you. State,
Okay.
you may proceed.
Okay, Jason.
State, you may proceed. Thank you.
Ma'am, I believe towards the end of Mr. Henderson's questioning, there was a question about potentially feeling uncomfortable or something to that effect.
Yes, so it was mostly because of the time. I have to be at pickup of my kids by 6. And if, like yesterday, I made it at 5:59. So if at any point we go over 5, then I would not be able to make it on time.
No follow-up.
Any follow-up? No. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
The Quinton Nixon case is delayed until the 29th.
As opposed to, there's lots of other trials you could have done. You're going to be excused today if you don't make this one. They're not going to make you do another trial, but are you?
I'm not concerned with my ability for jury status.
I do not believe that it will influence me because it was 30 odd years ago.
Thank you.
Oh, is this the one
follow-up?
that his sister lost his life?
Thank you, sir.
Or lost her life?
I appreciate you.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped into it.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I'm not concerned.
Would you like to speak without the other jurors present? Correct?
I did, but to be honest, I can't recall the purpose.
Yeah, everything's on.
Have you met Sarah?
My apologies. I did say that, and I don't recall in what respect that was to, other than my comment late yesterday afternoon.
Did it have anything to do with a friend being murdered potentially?
My brother.
Your brother, okay. And
his brother was shot by his wife or something.
I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't omitting anything as we were discussing everything, or as you were asking the questions. It happened so long ago that I didn't really bring it up at the correct time. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew.
Okay. Well, I understand that's a deeply painful experience that you went through and the rest of your family went through. That experience that you and your family and his loved ones and friends all went through with his loss, is that going to affect your ability to be fair and impartial in a murder trial? As opposed to, there's lots of other trials you could have done. You're going to be excused today if you don't make this one. They're not going to make you do another trial, but are you?
I'm not concerned with my ability for jury status. I do not believe that it will influence me because it was 30 odd years ago.
Thank you.
They're going to strike him. It's
Any follow-up? Okay. Thank you, sir.
He sees that video. He's
appreciate
going to want
you.
to launch out of the.
Yeah, he will carry that.
And that's not a bad thing, but
no.
When you hear that video,
Any
it's
position as
just
to juror in seat 49.
No motion.
Everyone remember the Saturday after the plea deal was offered, there was a screaming in the room where Sarah Boone and her lawyer were, where the lawyer told the guards it was him yelling and he was sorry. I bet you he was yelling, "You are not getting a better deal." And that's probably why she has to testify in a narrative, because he will have problems asking her questions because he knows he will change the story.
Defense? Okay, thank you. Let's remain standing. We'll bring in the juror in seat 51 wearing badge 325, excuse me.
But we ain't getting to the starting today, so I think I will plop off, put Molly outside so she can take a little goodnight pee. We'll be back tomorrow for the Richardson hearing. We'll try and figure out when it starts. I will ship all of my channel over to Trial TV Live, the one who is carrying this signal. They are in court, and no one else has it. I had been given permission to watch it. So you can go and watch the rest of it. I will go take care of Molly and her business. And hopefully we'll see you all mornings.
And I'm going to redirect to Squid Pro Quo. I think she's breaking this down. If you'd rather watch Trial TV, then you can hop on over to Baker's chat and that'll redirect you there. I just really like to support, people that are starting their channels. She is monetized. Give her a chance.
Thank you so much for that little backhanded. Oh, Baker doesn't want to support smaller creators.
I didn't mean it like that. Fine. Baker, oh my God, you're the girl. I'm the dude. I don't even think about what I think, and I have no deeper meaning. I am the most dudeish girl ever with that, unless I'm with Mr. Mo. Then he gets all the Sarah Boone-ness. I'm like, oh, really? Do we want to bring out the Costco list of what you have done wrong?
No, I love that. We should always. Well, normally I'll also try and redirect to smaller channels, but I know people are interested in this.
Also really interested, so I have no problem with you guys piping over to Baker if you want to continue watching this. I just wanted to give her a shout out too, because I try to shout out the channels of people, and so does Baker. He does a good job. For the love of Cheetos, don't make me have to overanalyze everything I think now.
Well, I'm just saying that no.
Oh God, he's going to tell mom now.
Please, everyone, always try and support newer, smaller channels. We spend a lot of time on the YouTubes. It's always nice to have new friends, and it might not seem like a lot to you, but it's the same when we are dual streaming. I have a few more watching me than Mo. Please go over and love Mo a little bit, because we're trying to get Mo to 4,000 subscribers, because she deserves 40,000 subscribers. But 4 is a good round number.
It is.
No, it's not. No, it's not. 4 isn't a round number. 10,000 is a round. 10,000 people. Come on now. If you don't get
there you go.
Mo to 10,000, I will be stamping my feet, drinking off the faucet.
I do have a grift. So Lego came out with a dingus, my new feral werewolf cat Lego set. And if I get to 5,000, my goal is to have my room clean, Jordan Peterson style. And also, you know, put that together, possibly with a lot of cursing. I am not going to lie. I am terrible at Lego.
And Peter, thank you. I won't be doing that tonight because it's 10:30 my time. So that's why I want to sneak out of here as well. Everyone, thank you so much for wasting an afternoon of Boone with all of us. Show some love out there. And if you can't show love to a smaller channel, do like Lefty and show love to yourself, because you're the closest to yourself.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All
right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has. Everybody has.